live.
Yeah, so episode 84 of Game Player. Uh, a lot of stuff happened. A lot of interesting stuff. Let's get to the intro. Weeb, how are you? What you been playing?
I'm good. I've been playing, finished Final Fantasy 16 finally. I know you were very impatient for me to finish it. So,
My man over here like a rabid dog. Finish it.
yeah, every single time, every single. He's been doing this since 2 weeks ago because he has all the time in the world. So he finished it like in a week's time, where everybody was still halfway through. But not saying anything.
Don't worry, I gave
Um,
him equivalent shit about taking too long to beat Hi-Fi Rush, so I got you.
as he deserves. Um, I have started the second playthrough, but I haven't finished it yet. Sort of, I think I'm gonna take my time with that because there's a lot of other stuff to play. I've been picking up Chained Echoes again because I left it unfinished because Final Fantasy came along. I've also played a bit on. I did a thing. I bought a Commodore 64 Mini. So I've been playing some old school retro games with that broke ass joystick. Uh, Sorry. All right. What else have I been playing? Guess a few games that I tried out. You know, it came with the PlayStation Plus collection, and I just booted up to getting those stars from PlayStation stores or whatever it's called. And other than that, yeah, I've been catching on a bit on anime. I've been watching some TV shows. Good Omen season 2, by the way, highly recommended. And also some classics. I rewatched Starship Troopers from the unofficial Verhoeven trilogy, an Ultra 4K HD because yeah, I mean,
Because why
I
not?
got one. Yeah, I got one in my PS5, so why not use it? So
Absolutely.
like, yeah, that's it.
Gotcha. And Nate, how are you? What you been playing?
Uh, yeah. I'm good. Um, right now, obviously, I finished Final Fantasy 16. In the meantime, got the platinum on that. Um,
Congratulations.
thank you. Um, then I went straight into finishing Field Chronicles, which I also finished and got the platinum on that. So
Nice.
yeah,
Great game.
yeah, two platinums in a row. Wasn't mad at it. It wasn't too hard. Um, and then by popular being yelled at by Sticks to get back to finish Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I've been getting back to that to try and finish that up, trying to decide if I want to finish the rest of the side quests. This game just has so much. Like I'm at the end, and it's just there's so much to do still, and I'm just like I'm just about to press the main story. I'm well high enough to just press it, so I think I'm just gonna press the main story as much as I want to finish some of the other stuff because it's just like it's never gonna end. If it just feels like one of those games where there's a side quest and there's a side quest to go with the side quest that has another side quest, and to be fair, a lot of them are actually really interesting. It's just I've already spent so much time on the game. It's just like, um, so yeah, playing that, went back to that, um, and then it's funny We've said something about Chained Echoes because that was the next thing that I was looking at. It looks like a lot of people are finishing it up, so I don't. It's kind of something I definitely wanted to play. I mean, that's why I got it. So yeah, that's another one on the docket. I think that's about it. Uh, I did go back to Tears of the Kingdom as well, so there is that. And randomly, I was playing Sleeping Dogs. That was I realized I'd never actually finished that, so I was having a
Cool.
conversation with Synctus about that, and
Yeah, you
yeah,
should definitely do that one.
yeah, Sleeping Dogs is awesome, and I own like the definitive edition already, so it's like it comes with everything, and I re-downloaded that, so yeah. And then probably the one other thing is Honkai Star Rail. Um, I was messing with that a little bit more. I'm not really taking it that serious because again, we all know how gotcha systems are and whatnot. So yeah, I think that about covers it. Other than that, like we've said, really trying to catch up on my anime, and then video game, esque related. I got to watch Twisted Metal with Morgan. We watched that, which
Really?
turned out to be pretty dope. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, I was
Wow.
actually
Nice.
surprised.
Yeah, it's actually really good.
Yeah, I was super surprised.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be good, but we binged the whole season and it was really good.
Hmm. Yeah, so Morgan did inform me that if you wanted to see it, Weeb, I need to put it on the Plex, so you'll have to let me know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, there you go.
I was thinking about you, Weeb.
Yeah, she
Thank
was
you.
she was like, you got to put it on the Plex so they can watch it, and I was like, all right, I got you. So yeah, that was super awesome. That was like a really unexpected surprise. Like I was just like, how could this be good? Like how? Like what exactly is gonna happen? I mean, it was kind of cool that the main character is basically my favorite in Twisted Metal. So like that's the character I played the most. Um, and then a lot of my secondary characters that I liked, they played a pretty heavy part as well. So it was, yeah, it was interesting. Like I'm not mad at it at all. I think
Yeah,
season
left
2's gonna
off
be
on a
great.
nice cliffhanger at the end, and it seems like season 2 is going to be even more
Mm-hmm.
in depth about the actual game. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Absolutely. But yeah, that's it.
Got you. Got you. Got you. And are you not feeling? Are you not sad that Iodine Chronicles getting delayed?
Absolutely. Absolutely ridiculous. I cannot stand it. Some bullshit.
It, it's not my fault.
Yeah, that is like the JRPG I wanted to play this, at least by the end of the year. Like even if it was December, it'd be fine. It's like the time of the year it got delayed to is like the most annoying time of the year for me. So it's like I hate it. So it's like on that time or right after. It's just like the worst time to release a game for me. So that's really
Mhm.
the annoyance more than anything. Like the delay, I'm like whatever, but like that's why I would have preferred like just give it to me on like Christmas or something. Like I don't care. Just make it this year. So hopefully we at least get the remaster for Suikoden 1 and 2, because that has no release date yet either. But at this point, I want to play it so bad. At this point, I'm about to emulate Suikoden 3 with the HD texture pack and play that. So yeah, but yeah, it was definitely a blow. But I mean, I guess I'm gonna be all Western RPG'd up, um, with Baldur's Gate 3 and Starfield, and then the
Oh man,
Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty.
gonna, you're gonna fuck the bear.
Yeah, that's what they tell me. That's what they tell me. I was like, I don't think I'll see that in particular because I'm not playing that character or anywhere remotely close to that character. So, but I'm sure someone
Yeah.
might. But yeah,
Morgan, how are you? What you been playing?
I'm good. Like everybody else, I've been playing Final Fantasy 16. Finished it, platted it, enjoyed it. Also played Oxenfree 1, finished that, platted it.
Let's go. I gave you a prompt last week for doing so. You're actually
Yeah,
better for me, better than me. You actually got the plot. I didn't get the plot, but I love the game.
yeah, it's good. And then I played Oxenfree 2 right after. Finished it. Was working on the plat, but for some reason I just can't seem to get one of the endings to work right. I don't know if it's like a glitch or a bug or something, but like I'm only like 3 trophies away. So I don't know. I guess I'll have to wait for them to fix it or figure out if I'm doing something wrong or not clicking the right thing. But I mean, I looked it up. I did everything it said I should do, but I still didn't get it. So I don't know. I have to research that some more. What else have I been playing? Don't think I've been playing anything else other than that. But yeah, watched Twisted Metal. It's great. Definitely didn't expect it. Unexpected. I just figured we were gonna watch the first episode and be like, yeah, this ain't it. But it was actually good. Like surprisingly, very funny. Very violent, but in like a comedic type of way. Like just I was like laughing like for most of the episodes. It was just so funny. I really didn't expect that too from what's his name? Shoot, what's the actor's name? Anthony Mackie. Yeah. I like because he's usually in more dramatic or serious movies and shows. So I didn't really know what to expect with him like taking on like a more comedic role. I was like, I don't know if his delivery is gonna be good or if it's gonna be authentic, but he was really good. Him and his co-star Stephanie Beatrix, they're both very good. And all the characters, even what's his name? What's the clown's name?
Sweet Tooth.
Yeah, Sweet Tooth. You know, I thought he was only going to be in like one episode. No, he's basically in most of them, and he's really good. He's very charismatic in a crazy way. Funny. I really liked his contribution. The actor did a really good job.
Funny enough, it was Samoa Joe, the wrestler.
Oh,
which
was it? Oh, yeah. I was trying to figure out who that was.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was crazy.
Was he anything impressive as he is when it comes to stalking in wrestling? Because he is a beast.
Yeah, he played the shit out that role. I was convinced.
I mean, no wonder.
I was dying.
He's believable.
You want to like Sweet Tooth just because of the shit he does, but then you just like, oh man, he gone overboard. But then he comes back, like it's just his personality is just hilarious. But yeah, you guys definitely got to watch it. It was surprisingly good, and I'm excited about the second season. I'm ready to see what they do with that. But yeah, that's pretty much been it for me when it comes to gaming.
Gotcha. Next time, tell me when you're about to watch it. I wanted to watch it, dude.
We're gonna put it. Nate's gonna put it on the Plex over so you can watch it.
Oh, cool. Because I don't have access to Peacock or whatsoever.
Unlike The Last of Us, they put the whole season.
Oh, cool.
So it's not episodic, like the whole season's up there.
To watch it without you complaining.
Okay.
I'll be like, that's not in the game.
I don't recall Twisted Metal having story. I only played it for the gameplay.
No. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I was telling Morgan some of the story bits.
Yeah, he kept pointing out to me like, oh, that's in the game. That's in the game. Oh, I'm sorry, Weeb, go ahead.
Just I think the voice actor, because Samoa Joe plays the physical part, but his voice is done by Will Arnett, right?
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was a split difference. Yeah.
Okay, well that person does a good job then.
Yeah.
Yeah. How is I know you talked a little about it, but how is Oxenfree 2 compared to 1?
I like the story of Oxenfree 1 better, but it's still good.
Because I saw
the story of 1's better.
Conflicting reviews about it, how uninspired and bland sequel. I'm like,
yeah, I mean, compared to 1, I don't like the characters as much. It is connected to 1 though. You'll see like a lot, like they talk about it and everything. So, yeah, but it like because in this one there's really only 2 main characters, unlike, the first one where it's like the group of friends of like 5 or whatever. And this one, you're only really talking to 2. I mean, you talk to other people via the walkie-talkie, but as far as like walking with you, being with you the whole time, it's only other one person. And I think that probably plays into why it's just not as good as the first one, because with the first one you could riff off of all the other characters. You had multiple personalities going on, people arguing, we should do this, we should make this decision. You had a good back and forth dynamic, and you were conflicted about what to do, because you have to do what's best for the entire group or whatever. But with this one, it's only just like 2 people, so it's just like basically you essentially making all the decisions without really much regard to like a group. Like, so yeah, the first one, to me, the story of the first one is definitely better, but it was pretty good. I couldn't complain. And it might be different from my perspective too, because I'm not an early adopter. I'm not a day one Oxenfree player. So, if you've been waiting, because, there's what, a 7-year gap between these 2 games or something like that, or maybe more. So if you've been waiting all those years, for a sequel to this game, and then this is what you got, you might be like, yo, what the fuck? But I literally play these back to back, so it's not as jarring to me. But yeah.
Got you. As for me, a lot. Real talk, a lot. So, I finished Hi-Fi Rush. Hey, my opinion, but I give it a
Game of the
6
year,
or a
baby.
7. Sorry?
I say game of the year.
Game of the year between a 6 or a 7 out of 10.
Oh man.
Not funny at the end. That's my
You a
opinion.
pony.
What
Pony.
made it work is the characters and the humor. Combat is boring for me. I play better. Heck, I would go out and say that the indie game Soldier that I was playing have better combat than Hi-Fi, but that's just my opinion. And then I also finished Soldier. This game prevented me from getting the plat, so I didn't get the plat. Well, I'm playing it on PC, but you understand what I'm talking about. And because there is a not game breaking, but plat breaking bug. And I'm not surprised that it's not patched, because the Sick Humor had to play the game 3 times before he got the plat, because of 2 game breaking bugs. Other than that, I started a game called Fuga. It's a very fascinating game about war, and it's grisly.
Is that with the furries in the tank?
Yeah.
Yeah, I started that too. But I still have to finish it.
How far are you?
Pretty early, like the first time you used the cannon.
So you're not far away. You're not far at all.
Nope.
Yeah, so Fuga, I actually dropped it around chapter 5. Or 3 or 4, I think. Basically, I beat 2 or 3 bosses without using the cannon. Basically, I'm not gonna spoil it. Even though it's an older game and the sequel is already here, I do recommend you to play it if you're a fan of turn-based. But get this, it's a turn-based but also roguelite in a way. Not roguelite, a semi-roguelite-esque in a way, I would say.
It's not really spoilers if you just is explaining what the game is about. You
I
just
mean, I didn't want to
if
talk
it
about
gets
the soul cannon, that's why. Because that's
yeah,
basically what it's about.
but it's not really a spoiler. It's the
No.
entire gaming of the game that
Okay, so
you can't sacrifice one of your characters to fire the soul cannon. That's the choice you have to make.
yeah, and sacrificing is literally it's dead. There is no
Yeah.
return coming back from it. And the good part is you can actually beat that game without uh, without firing the cannon once. And that's so far I've been doing. I did so. Um, the problem arrive if that there is a certain amount of AP point that you can allocate to make your friendship better with your teammate, therefore getting new moves and stuff like that. Or you can invest that in upgrading your tank. So there is a lot of deep mechanic when it comes to this game. I started a game called Eastward, and right off the bat, this game commit to doing something so stupid, so illogical. I'm like, how? Why would you ever do that? You you have a video of the game, and they almost tell you close to the entire story, and you can't skip it. They spoil stuff, they spoil concept, and you literally haven't even touched the game yet. And I'm like, this would have been an amazing plot twist if I didn't know about that. And this would have been an amazing plot twist if I didn't know about that. It's so brain dead decision. I have no idea why they did that. So my recommendation for you: one, play Eastward. I'm playing it. I'm at the ship, third area, I think, and I'm loving it. But if you're gonna play it, don't watch the intro trailer. Absolutely don't. Go away for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Make sure to be done. Yeah, Eastward. What's it about? It's post-apocalypse 2D. I think 2D. No, it's not 2D, but it is old school game. It's more of a Zelda, not the new Zelda, but the old Zelda style. But what's fascinating about it, it actually have a mini game in it of a turn-based game, full blown. And that one, I was enjoying it until you realize, one, you have a deadline, and two, your stuff are randomized. You can literally get the best weapon in the game and breeze through it, or you can have one of the worst time in it. But yeah, no, Eastward as a game, very fascinating story. Combat is a lot of fun. Instead of one character you play as two, you can switch between them on the fly, and both of them do different things. It doesn't have any voice acting, sadly. Music is fantastic, and the humor is in the game. Real talk, I really wish Salty would play it, cause the currency is literally salt, and when you actually gain salt or find salt, they say, "Why you so salty?" it's it's hilarious. I highly recommend you playing Eastward. It's on PlayStation, PC, Xbox, and Nintendo. I'm not sure if it's Xbox, but it is no, it is on Xbox because I found it on Game Pass. Um, but yeah, that's about it about me, I think. Let's get to the first topic. Go ahead, Nate. What do you want to talk about, Ratchet?
Or not.
Oh no. He's
Just go on to the
coming.
next topic. Just go on. It's
Okay,
fine.
we're waiting on him. Then let's get to the other topic. Would be then.
That's mine.
Hey, he's here. Go ahead.
Let's
What do you
talk.
want to talk about, Ratchet?
No, I was just saying, we just need the clarification on this is so ridiculous. Like the amount of people embarrassing themselves over this bullshit is just insane to me. So regardless, right? Insomniac, let's just set the record straight. Insomniac was 100% accurate in their statement, right? Like that's not even a question. They stated that with previous generation hardware, they could not build the world the way that they built it and for it to run the way that it runs and give also when they mentioned the SSD giving near instantaneous load times. All that is 100% factual. They didn't say, "Hey, all that other shit it won't run. Hey, you can't even attempt it. Hey, you can't do this, that, and the third." All this bullshit people are making up that I'm showing you on the screen right now. I have it pulled up so people can see. And these people who think infinite optimization, I don't know how many times we got to tell people this. This shit does not exist. Like all these non-PC fuckboys, like this shit does not exist. There's not some infinitesimal optimization for you to play on some Pentium fucking 1, like, or something. The optimization that far back don't exist, bitch. Like, let's get that shit straight.
Something. Can you close, zoom in? Because nobody gonna be able to read the chat like that.
Yeah, you can see it like that.
But yeah, the thing is, people have mixed up Insomniac own wording versus fanboys that used it
Oh, absolutely.
as console war.
Yeah, the
Instead of going with the Insomniac actual statement, they went with the console war one, which is
exactly.
only possible on PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I don't.
Which Insomniac never said that. They said that will come to the PlayStation 4, which Digital Foundry actually tried it, and they couldn't try, and that it was running horrible.
Yeah, so you can see it right here, right, where this is them loading it, and this is the key. A 5400 RPM hard drive is what the PlayStation 4 has in it. Not only to mention what's running this on screen that's choking, it still has better specs than the PS4. So they said previous gen, as in the previous generation they worked on, meaning PlayStation 4, it could not run. Period. Like there is no turn it down.
They tried to HD or motherboard trying to run this.
Yeah, like look at this. Look at this mess.
Like, if you played Ratchet, which I think most of us here got the plat, this is going to be an issue because there are moments where it
Bro, it's at 4 FPS right now.
In out.
It is choking
How are
right
you gonna
now.
play that?
You can't. So people that keep saying, "Oh yeah, I tried on this new souped up, hard drive that has nothing to do with a PlayStation 4 with $3,000 worth of, other components, this, that, and the third, and it runs just fine, on these bullshit ass settings that I'm not going to talk about, or, I put it on 4K and I thought it was kind of playable, whatever," which again is another point to the thing that IGN keeps bringing up, where IGN said it's basically unplayable without an SSD. And regardless, even the 7200 RPM hard drives have still had issues. Like it's not playing in a flawless manner in which a game needs to be released at. So yes, it is essentially or basically unplayable without an SSD. So all this bullshit and these people that got together and put these read notes and all this nonsense underneath the IGN article are just mad because the Insomniac was right in their statement, and then even further they thought that they could bullshit and go further and pull some other nonsense, which also doesn't work. So no, and trying to compare with something running through, again, entirely different hardware, even on something like the Steam Deck with a bunch of shit turned down, is an entirely different throughput than a 5400 RPM hard drive. So again, people don't know what they're talking about. They need to stay in their lane and just stop the nonsense, bro. Like this shit is a joke. These people are freaking embarrassing. Like, and it's just, I'm so sick and tired of dealing with this shit. Like, every single time, like, these people pop up and they're just like, oh yeah, well, PC can do this and this, that, and the third, and this, that, and, and the other. And the only reason, mind you, that even the 7200 RPM hard drive is doing as well as it's even doing is because Direct Storage 1.2 was pushed out with this game, which, mind you, was supposed to be out years ago, which again is another failure of Microsoft not delivering the stuff when they said they were going to. Direct Storage should have been out years ago, but it wasn't.
Also, it doesn't have ray tracing and it's not 60 FPS, so
yeah, there's a bunch of stuff with it. So it's like, no, it doesn't run as they intended on the PlayStation 5 the way that it runs. So the answer is no. You need a freaking SSD.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is they took Insomniac's statement as like a boast or a like just some kind of brag about it being better than the Xbox or PC or something like that, when Insomniac never mentioned PC. They never once mentioned other SSDs. They didn't mention the competing consoles. They didn't mention anything. The only thing they actually mentioned was PS4. So they were talking about within their own ecosystem, as in the PlayStation ecosystem, the Ratchet and Clank could not have been developed, and it could not have been made, and it could not run without the PS5's SSD. And that's, like Nate said, that's a true fact because they're comparing it to the previous generation. The way the PlayStation 5, its main marketing was the SSD. As far as like, as the main draw to, upgrade from the previous generation, it was the SSD. And so Ratchet and Clank was the big game to market that power, right? Like, this is what the PS5 is capable of. This is what can't be done on previous generations. So when they were talking about the game and they were talking about the power of the SSD, they were comparing it in terms of, this is why you need to upgrade, right? These are the things that can't be done on previous generations. And the reason this game can be made and we're able to do these instantaneous rift jumps and, go through these dimensions so quickly is because the PS5's SSD, and that's a fact. Like,
exactly,
you can't do it. Wasn't possible to be done on the PS4's HDD, and they Digital Foundry tested it out on a spec, a PC spec to the PS4, and then we saw what happened. Like, Ratchet literally froze in time for all of like 30 seconds, and I don't think he ever came back out. Like, I think it just froze.
It got murdered.
It was. Like, that's what they were trying to say. Like, the reason this game, and because this was Insomniac's first PS5 exclusive, right? Miles Morales had been released, but it was a
it was hybrid.
It was a hybrid, right? It was cross-gen, right? There was the Spider-Man remaster, but that was just a remaster. Like, this was their first real next-gen game. So they were explaining to gamers, and this is the problem. This is why you can't say anything to gamers, because they don't come in with information. A lot of them just come in with like fanboy logic, which isn't really any logic to begin with. Mm-hmm. And so they were trying to explain to people why this game wasn't cross-gen like their last one, why this was a PS5 exclusive. It's because of the PS5's SSD is needed in order for Ratchet and Clank to be able to jump through the rifts instantaneously. This is the way we designed the game, and this is the experience that we wanted players to have. And in order to do that, we had to make this game exclusive to PS5. And for God knows whatever reason, well, I know console reasons, people took that and was like, oh, they're trying to say that the SSD of the PS5 is the only SSD and the only machine capable of doing the rift jumps. Oh, we'll prove them wrong. Wait till that game comes to PC. Like, that's not what they said. But again, fanboys look for W's wherever they can, and they'll take information, conflict it, and just bend it to whatever propaganda they're trying to push. And so, like, I don't even agree with Tom Warren half the time, but even he came out and was like, people, under his post talking about, oh, yeah, see, Insomniac lied. They lied. And he was just like, no. They were talking about it in terms of the PS4 and the fact that it couldn't run on a PS4. They never said anything about any other system or PC or nothing. And of course, people were, going against him and immediately calling him a liar. Like, no, that's not what they said. That's not what they said. And I'm like, yo, if Tom Warren is telling you that Insomniac wasn't lying, like, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, it's the whole situation has just gone out of control. It's spun out of control, and regardless of the information given, like they've been given multiple articles about what Insomniac actually said.
Oh, we about to review it.
At this point, like they are set in their beliefs. No amount of information is going to change their mind. Nothing you could say is gonna. They're gonna be like, no, Insomniac lied. Like, and they're gonna hold their ground on this forever. So it's just like at this point, it's just like.
Well, they're not. They're not even arguing exactly what they said anymore. They're just making shit up now. Like that's what's crazy. It's like, where are you getting any of this information? It's like none of that was stated, and it's like that's why I got the video pulled up right here. So I'm gonna play it for you guys, and you'll see. We're gonna see together exactly what they said, and I know what they said because I watched this video the other night. So, all right, we're going to play this. This is the first Ratchet & Clank adventure. Oh, hold on. It's coming out of the wrong speakers. There we go.
Done in a long time, and we're super excited. This is a game that tells the story of an arch nemesis coming to town and accidentally damaging the fabric of space-time, causing dimensional rifts to erupt all throughout the world. Ratchet & Clank is a series that prides itself on exploration of exotic worlds and bringing you to places you've never been before. And that's something that we're really striving for, and that PlayStation 5 is really allowed with just increased horsepower. The number of objects in the world and the things to explore.
So again, we're going to pause for a second. So the number of objects in the world, the things you can explore, the power of the PS5 has really allowed us to explore that. So, okay, so they're saying, again, factual things we all know that happens with increased power at your, available fingertips, increased memory, all these things they're referring to right now.
Explore the enemies around, the effects, everything is more. This is what we're trying to do, is build worlds that feel real and are bringing you in. You're exploring these brand new spaces. And this is something that we never could have done on previous generations. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is a game that...
Omar can't hear the video. Omar doesn't realize that I'm playing the video.
I am not hearing. Oh, there is audio. Sorry about that. I thought it was just because I was reading the text.
Yeah, no, I'm playing the video.
Okay, go ahead. Play it again.
That utilizes dimensions and dimensional rifts, and that would not have been possible without the solid-state drive of the PlayStation 5. The SSD is screamingly fast. It allows us to build worlds and project players from one place to another in near instantaneous speeds.
Okay, so that's what we needed to hear. It allows us to build worlds and project players into these other worlds at near instantaneous speeds. That is what the SSD does. The SSD...
And it would not have been possible without the PS5, which is true.
Which is true, exactly.
If we were still on PS4, this game wouldn't fucking exist. That's what they're saying.
All the particle effects, everything that you see. And then we get to do what? We get to do that at maximum speed, near instantaneous speed, something that was not possible on previous generations, meaning PlayStation 4. Like, there's nothing else to it.
See, the problem is people took it almost as if they're like a third-party developer making an exclusive for PlayStation or something. And what people need to realize is Insomniac is a first-party developer. So whatever games they're going to be talking about are going to be the games for PlayStation. And at the time of Ratchet & Clank, when it was being developed and it was being released, the systems that Insomniac were working on was PS4 and PS5. So whenever they talk about and compare games and compare power and talk about improvements, they're always in comparison to the previous game or the previous system. They're never talking about outside stuff like PC, Xbox, whatever, because they don't develop for those platforms. So they're always talking in terms of the ecosystem that is PlayStation. So when they say things like, we have an improvement, we couldn't do this without the PS5 SSD, they're talking about in terms of the PlayStation ecosystem and what they couldn't do before when they were working on the PS4 with games like Spider-Man 2018, Miles Morales, even though it's cross-gen, they still had to compensate for the PS4. But this one, there's no holdbacks, there's nothing. It's purely PS5, and we could do this. We could do the rift jumps. We could do all these worlds, the particle effects, the cool animations, everything like that, the textures, everything like that was able to be done because of the PS5's SSD. They weren't saying other SSDs couldn't do it. They weren't saying other SSDs were incapable. They never said any other platforms are incapable of doing this game. They were talking in terms of the PlayStation ecosystem, which consists of PS4 and PS5. And because they got, they finally separated themselves from the PS4, this is the power that they're able to grasp, and this is what they're able to do with that. And it's thanks to the SSD that a lot of this, was done for this game. And that's what they were talking about. That's it.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how people took that and spun it into this huge thing that, oh no, they're talking about their competitors. They're talking about PC. Though they're trying to say that nobody else can do this. They're trying to say that the SSD for the PS5 is magical. Like, where are you hearing this?
Exactly.
Like, I don't understand where you're getting that information from. The only other system and console that they ever mentioned was the PS4.
Exactly.
So with that, that's the only thing that you should think that they're comparing it to, because they never mentioned anything other than the PlayStation 4 in the previous generations. Those were the words that they were using. So that's stop conflicting. Stop. Well, they were, insinuating. No, they didn't insinuate anything. They made it clear exactly what they were comparing Ratchet and Clank to.
Oh, the other thing everybody keeps trying to conflate in this conversation is the PS5's SSD as if it's something proprietary. It's a Gen 4 NVMe. I didn't even have one of those then, and you guys know what kind of PC I have all the time. I didn't even have one of those.
At the time, wasn't the PlayStation 5?
It was basically
at the time. Of course,
it was basically the only one. They weren't even really out yet for PC. There were some you could get, but you're talking like over $1,000. And it was like PCIe, and they were sloppy. They were huge. Like, it was a mess. It was way different. And then eventually they became available, which is when we started to see them for the expansion slot. And eventually
expansion. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the price started to come down because they started to, be more readily available. But even me and you, when we got our SSDs, the 4 terabyte,
like
exactly. We paid I paid almost $300.
It was like almost $300, and the 4 terabytes shoot.
Yeah, the
$1,000.
Yeah, almost $1,000. And this past Prime Day, you could have got a 4 terabyte for like 131. It was 131 was the cheapest one. That's insane. It was
crazy. Great deal.
Yeah, and even when Prime Day went away, it was still 172 or 171 or something like that. That's crazy, from $900. So yeah, it's a whole different planet now that we're living on compared to when this statement was made. But the statement still stands that it is 100% unequivocally accurate. It's inarguable. Like, I don't know if these people are crazy.
Yeah, but people hear what they want to. Oh, I'm sorry,
And to be fair, it still runs best on PS5.
Exactly.
It surely does.
Exactly. Exactly.
It really does, though.
I've been listening to you guys for the longest, and I'm gonna tell you guys what's the biggest thing about this whole entire thing. Here is the thing. They have seen what we have experienced, and also they have played it themselves. This is how they know how amazing it is. But because they had the PlayStation 5 so much, they want to try to discredit it. But it's not that I'm focusing on. They would rather focus on that and not on asking Microsoft to deliver something like this for them.
Well, yeah, because for them, it's not about the games at the end of the day. They're not playing.
End goal. They're not reaching the end goal. They would rather be mad, angry, whatsoever. I'm gonna give it to them. Let's say company lied. Congratulations, PlayStation lied. They're liars whatsoever. How does that help Xbox?
I mean, it
How does
doesn't.
that help
PlayStation
your
still selling
ecosystem?
You know,
double.
it's not about helping Xbox. It's just about making PlayStation look as bad as possible. They know the state
Precisely.
Xbox is in. They know Xbox is never going to be number one. Like PlayStation just has that, and it's just going to stay that way. So, you know, you can't if you can't gain the ground, what do? You make the other one lose ground. So it's about diminishing PlayStation, trying to chip away at their reputation, trying to show that, oh, PlayStation isn't that great. Oh, they're not this. Oh, they're only good because this, and that, which, you know, isn't real because they had to buy it, and little stuff like that to try to make PlayStation seem like it's not as good as it is. And that's the only play they have right now, because right now, at least they don't have the games that the caliber PlayStation does to back up the talk. So until like their first party starts hitting, if it does, this is the strategy. This is the only strategy they have right now, which is like I just usually just brush it off. I'm just like, all right, like it is what it is. They do this. They spend they have accounts just dedicated to doing this all day, every day. And I'm just like, don't you get tired of that?
No, but that's the thing. Again, shout out to Secumer. He used to say it back then, before anyone else started saying it. I am not a gamer. He genuinely hates that word gamer. He just calls himself someone that loves to play video games, or loves to play games. Like, gaming for them is not it. It's all about the brand. They would, like, I swear to you, if Microsoft drops out of the quote unquote console race, they wouldn't even bat an eye about that. They would follow Microsoft wherever they go now next. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty sad. Like I said, it shows and just reiterates the lack of confidence they have in Microsoft as a developer and their ability to deliver games, because when your immediate concern is the next acquisition, because you don't see anything on the horizon coming from this company, which is crazy. Like you're the other one, the ink isn't even dried on the Activision deal, and their immediate concern is what can we buy next? What can we and more importantly, not what can we just buy, what can we take away from everyone else in the industry, but specifically PlayStation. That's who we're concerned about. Let's look at the PlayStation hit list. Let's look at the games they like. Microsoft should buy something they like and take it away from them. That even though I don't want it, the consumer, the person who claims to be this Xbox fanboy, they don't want it, but they just don't want someone else to have it. And again, this is an age old concept that me and Morgan talked about plenty of times, where the child on the playground that is just fine until they see that other kid playing with that other toy, having a ball, and even though they don't want that toy, they're gonna go over there while the teacher's not looking and take it away and kick it or bury it in the sand and make sure that other kid can't have it, because they see that other kid having fun and they don't want that other child to have fun. That's essentially what this is, like the adult version of this at like a mass scale. And Microsoft just plays directly into the propaganda. Sarah Bond and all of them just constantly play into the propaganda machine of this nonsense, and they just eat it up. Just constant reinforcing this bias, and it's number one, it's not healthy for one, but again, companies do not care ultimately at the end of the day. The end result is they just constantly want to build these, zealots who constantly propagate whatever they want them to do, whatever they want them to say, whether or not they're actually given the support, which is kind of obvious it's not, evidenced by the sales. But again, that's not the goal. The goal is not about boosting themselves or getting Xbox higher. It's about bringing PlayStation and PlayStation fan base lower, because they basically been getting their ass beat for so long, and they want to win. And it's very obvious when you see in social media how everything is attempted to be provocative in a way to try and get a rise or a reaction out of PlayStation fans, and when they don't get it, they just get more extreme and they go crazier, and it just gets deeper and deeper, and they can't help themselves because they don't get the reaction. What they're looking for is the reaction that they have when we get a game that they really want, and then they're upset about it, even though we're not rubbing it in. We're not saying nah, you don't get none of that. Like, we're not teasing nobody, nothing. PlayStation fans are just excited to get an amazing looking game, and we're all hyped to play it and probably going to support it like crazy, which is what we always do, right? But to them, since they don't get it, even if it's a game they didn't plan to play, they're upset. So I need PlayStation fans to feel what I felt for all these years, and label it the fight.
They want us. They want us to be envious. Like, they want us to be sitting over here in a corner, upset. Like, damn, I wish I could play that. Why can't it? Why is it on PlayStation? Yeah.
We just lost Final Fantasy 14. They want us to feel sad.
They tried.
They genuinely want us to think.
They said it's over. They said it's over, bro.
It's over. I can't live anymore like this. PlayStation, how could you? Square Enix, how could you? And we're out here, dude. I just started playing ep4, and it's like, I remember this game. I wanted to play it, but like, no time to play it. I'm like, too many games to play.
Exactly.
Like, this
Which,
is what
meanwhile, by the way, they had
doing.
Eastward. They had Eastward from the jump as well. I haven't seen a single person from Xbox playing Eastward.
Eastward is on Game Pass.
It was on
That's
Game
how
Pass.
I found it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just funny to me, all of the erratic fans that claim to not be fans of, ever since the relationship with PlayStation and Square Enix has been so close, and PlayStation's been able to secure like the big exclusives with Square, with Final Fantasy and everything like that. They all claimed, who cares about Square Enix, right? Who cares? Final Fantasy's overrated. I don't know. Nobody wants those Japanese games. Yada yada yada. All that. But all it takes is for Square Enix to give them, a 55-year-old game, and they are back to loving them again. Like, it just switched. They were like, oh my gosh, yes, Final Fantasy 14, as you should. Like, everybody should be excited when they get new games. But I'm just like, y'all were just talking crap about Final Fantasy, and now they're asking, oh man, hopefully Final Fantasy 7 remakes next, and 16. I'm like, wait, y'all said both of those games were trash. Like, what are we doing right now?
Wait until they find out they have to get another subscription to play Final Fantasy 14.
Exactly, on top of Game Pass. And I'm saying, like, it ain't even in Game Pass. It's a thing. Like, y'all not about to buy this game. Stop it.
It's not even so, Morgan. I feel so sorry, Rip. So how does Final Fantasy 14 have affected you? Going to Xbox have affected you likewise? I know it's been
I've gone into a state of depression. I was like, Square Enix, how could you betray me like this? Like, why is 14 on Xbox? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm stunned. I don't even have words. Like, I'm about to delete 16. Like, I'm trying to figure out how to get it off my profile entirely. This is a betrayal to all PlayStation fans. Like, we got to run for the hills because Phil Spencer has shaken the hands of top executives and Yoshi P at Square Enix. It's funny, like they all swear like, oh man, it's doom and gloom, like it's over, like they about to get all the games now. And I'm like, the thing is though, you guys were already getting Square Enix games. Like, this is not a new thing. Like, y'all were getting Square Enix games. The problem is y'all just weren't supporting them. You've gotten plenty. You've got Crisis Core. You've got that Outlanders game.
Octopath 1.
Octopath 1. You secured Tomb Raider as like a exclusive for like a year,
which was irrelevant for the record.
It didn't do anything, by the way. Because you didn't secure the game, which was the first one. Like, exactly. You've had all of these games. And the problem is you just didn't support them, and it is what it is. Like, I mean, hopefully, maybe you'll support 14. I'm not gonna hold my breath on that, but then I'm not gonna diminish y'all. Like, I'm gonna give y'all the benefit of the doubt. Like y'all say y'all
Well,
want these type of games. Look. I'm just saying. I'm making a PSA. They say they want these type of games. Okay, cool. You have to show Square Enix that though. You can't just say it in your words and your tweets. You know, you actually have to support and play it so that they'll be like, okay, Xbox fans actually do want Final Fantasy and they do want to play it on their preferred platform. So now they'll be sure to deliver more Final Fantasy games. But if you're just gonna rah and celebrate on Twitter, but then the game releases and then it's just a ghost town, it's not gonna change anything. So speak with your wallet, gamers. All right, play the game. All right.
Okay, I wanted to continue with it with Weave and Innate, but let's not. It's entertaining, but it's actually sad that this is how they actually believe. I haven't, so maybe I'm not following the right, quote unquote, right fanboys. I haven't seen a single PlayStation fan being mad about it or upset about it.
I've seen some crazies, but it's like those are always like the people who just created an account a month ago with like 2 followers, and then they use that as a representation of the PlayStation community. I'm like, who is that? I've never seen that person before, but apparently they represent us now. But okay, that's fine.
Okay. Final thing I'm saying about this. It's sad that when you look at what. So again, I'm gonna segue this to another talking point that went all back again. Apparently, Spider-Man was supposed to be multi-platform all of a sudden now.
Oh, another lie. Why do they keep lying on Insomniac?
Yeah.
Another lie.
So, get this. We have covered this. We have found out that Microsoft was approached and they rejected not Spider-Man, but any Marvel IP. And then you say, and we played Spider-Man, they watched Spider-Man 1, and for years, all I saw was how they said that Microsoft should get the right for Wolverine. It makes sense. The X for Xbox.
Oh God, the irony.
No, but that's the thing though. Instead of watching what Insomniac did with Spider-Man and thinking, okay, look, good one, Insomniac. Now Microsoft, look, watch what Insomniac did. Learn from it. Insomniac elevated the ball. One game sold more the entire Batman franchise. I'm not sure about that one, but I do remember. Right. I do remember it outselling a lot of the Batman games. And mind you, the Batman game is on multiple console generations versus one console. Now it's on PC, but back then wasn't. And instead of thinking, okay, Microsoft, bring your A game, get Hulk, get Wolverine, but that's the thing. They wanted Wolverine for the X sign. They didn't want Wolverine because it would make a good Wolverine game. They didn't look at Insomniac and I'm like, okay, which studio do you think Microsoft can elevate? But they don't. Before I continue, shout out to Teddy Flow and shout out to C-Fresh and shout out to Nelson Gaming. Going back to it, it's sad. And then what happened? PlayStation got Wolverine. They went from loving Wolverine to now saying Wolverine is dog shit. and this is, mind you, this is just a plate and a controller, and it broke the internet.
Oh man. Yeah, it was hard getting that plate. Okay.
I had access to it, but I don't have the money, so I skipped it. But legit, the second I saw it, I went in and I had access to it. I had it in the bag if I wanted to, but I didn't. So I opted not to do so. There are more important matters at hand for me. Um, but it goes to show you just how much people wanted this. But it goes also to show you how PlayStation is brain dead. They've been losing money. People want these plates. You think if PlayStation made a Ratchet and Clank, Horizon Forbidden, God of War, Returnal, any plate would have done them justice? I don't know. Is PlayStation suffering? Are they genuinely suffering the curse of success? Because they think they can get away with anything, they don't care about pleasing the fan base that much.
I,
Like they're
I don't think this is a matter of thinking they could get away with it. They're just not acting on it.
Yeah.
Like it's not like it's gonna break or make them if they release these plates. It's just they're really slow in
but it would make
adapting to
them
this.
money.
Of course it would, but
A
not
lot of money even.
it won't, let's say, move the needle as much as you think it will, but it's an extra it's a no-brainer. Yeah, it should be relatively easy to make this plate, and they will sell, but they're not that, I guess, adapt at or they didn't think this through. I don't know what the reasons why this is not coming through before. Maybe they're also thinking, well, if we're are very slow in releasing these, or keeping them a very exclusive, people will pay more for them. I don't know what the
Yeah.
reason is, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
I
But
think
like,
Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Will. I'm sorry.
it's just like it's dumb, but like in the end, who cares? Like, I'm happy for you, Morgan, that you got the plays, but like
Thank you.
I'm not getting them because I have my beautiful purple plate, so I'm not gonna replace it.
I don't blame you. Oh man, but I think that yeah, I'm not sure why they didn't do plates for the other exclusives. Yeah, I
Like
think I agree
initially,
with Weeb. Yeah,
I think they're slow playing it. I think.
yeah, they're slow playing it. I don't know why. Maybe they're trying to just do it with maybe PS5 exclusives. I don't know. But as far as like I mean, I do get why they did it with Spider-Man though. That's like
That's
one of
huge,
their biggest IPs now. That's an instant moneymaker because Spider-Man is
God of
beyond.
War would have done it. Horizon would have done it.
I agree, but I'm saying I don't know why they didn't. But I'm saying I know why they did it with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's just because Spider-Man is beyond gaming, right?
I
Spider-Man
know.
is it's an IP known worldwide. It's the most popular superhero ever, at least currently.
More than Batman and Superman. Let that sink in.
Yeah. So you can pull in people who aren't even gamers.
Yeah.
Or like aren't hardcore. Like the reason, like I say this all the time, but the reason my younger brother even bothered to get a PlayStation, he's a gamer. Like we all grew up gaming, but he's kind of fell off of it as he got older. But the reason he even bothered to pick up a PlayStation 4 was when they dropped Spider-Man 2018, and he was like immediately. He was like, "Oh, Spider-Man! I gotta get it! I gotta get it!" Because Spider-Man's his favorite superhero, just like mine. So he immediately went out to get a PS4 that day when he saw that, and that's just the power that Spider-Man holds. Like it can get people who aren't even gamers, who just like Marvel fans. Just Marvel's big right now. I mean, they're not about to be with the way they're headed. That's a whole different story. But like it's just Spider-Man just has that grip on multiple medias right now. So I get why, if they're going to do a plate first, I get why Spider-Man would be that one. And I don't really know why they made them limited. Maybe it was just to push that these are exclusive kind of things, get it while you can, and like jar up the want even more for these, so that if they do like a second wave, it'll be even crazier, because people will be like, oh my god, the first wave went out, it's sold out, so if I really want this, I have to jump in right now.
But that makes I'm gonna stop you there for 1 second.
Yeah.
Here is why that makes no sense, because they could have done that with every single one, and every single one people would have went out and bought them.
See, but that's what I'm saying, Omar. I'm not disagreeing with you that they shouldn't have done it with the other ones. I'm saying I don't know why. I'm just saying I just know why they did it with Spider-Man is what I'm saying. Like, it's just too huge not to pass up. Yeah.
Any risk of overheating? Can this genuinely might be a thing? Why they haven't?
Plates?
Yeah.
I mean, but they're the same plates.
They're the same plates. They're just decorated.
They just got paint on them.
It's crazy. They literally. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's baffling. I get it.
Yeah, don't worry. It's not because of like overheating or anything like that. It's just, again, I don't know why this was the first one. Like you said, they would have sold well, like a Horizon one and a God of War one. It would have, but they did the controllers and
would have sold one.
Yeah, maybe. And it's just like they did the controller for God of War, and we all thought, okay, are they gonna do a plate too? But they never did, nope. And it's just like, oh, okay, well.
And most of the stuff was like, for example, Final Fantasy 16 was uninspired. The Hogwarts Legacy one was also not that good.
Yeah. And the Final Fantasy one was like, what? It was like Japan exclusive or
almost
whatever.
They are afraid to put effort into them. Because let's keep it real. I don't know if you've seen the Miles one, but there is a Miles, there one.
Oh, yeah. All of the fan art ones that I've seen have been amazing. Like
that one looks 10 times, 20 times better than the PlayStation one. So you're like, why are you not putting effort? Like clearly there's collector's editions that people would pay money for them.
And then what makes it even worse, Omar, is the fact that they released the LeBron James one. And it's like, why was that the first? Because technically LeBron James is the first.
I talked about that and people gave me shit for it.
Yeah, and I get it because
I think you included. You gave me shit for it as well.
Shit. I was confused too. Like, because I mean, I get.
You told me because he is a celebrity. Of course, they're gonna cater to
and
the
he's
celebrity.
Also a playmaker. A PlayStation playmaker for PlayStation, so he's like a representative of it. And I get it. He's a celebrity. He's known. He's one of the most popular.
He's also known to play PlayStation.
Yeah,
like there's the infamous picture of him walking to like practice or whatever, or from practice, and he has a PlayStation 2 in his Slim in his hands with 2 controllers connected. So like he's been on it for a bit. Yeah,
and he's the most popular athlete in the world right now. So I mean, I get it, but it was still like, why was that the first though?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool, but I mean, we have a lot of IPs that we would like to be seen on our PlayStation, but all right.
It's crazy. Nate, do you have anything to say about this one?
No, I mean, we already kind of established it. It is what it is. At least they're starting to roll things out. We'll see how it goes for future products for the future. Because I mean, I woke up in the morning with Morgan to pre-order hers. So while after she got hers, we were talking about it, and because I didn't pick them up. But
listen, I had the fight of my life. Okay,
I know Xbox fans, and they wanted that. Mm-hmm. It's just if you're a collector, you're gonna want them. Simple. Period.
And fuck PlayStation Direct, by the way, because the way they hold traffic on that website is horrible. Like I was sitting there with the plates in my my cart, ready to go. I get to the car, they said, "Oh yeah, it's out of stock, boo." I was like, "Huh?" Pissed me off so bad. So I had Wario's notifications on deck, and he was like, "It's up at Best Buy." And I was like, "Oh, absolutely," because I had made sure earlier to sign in on my Best Buy or whatever, so that I could, if I needed to, I could, get on there quick and get the plates. So thankfully, I got them there. But
Nice.
yeah,
Shout
it was a battle.
Shout out to C-Fresh. They better do one for Wolverine. I mean, if
Yes,
going
they should absolutely do one.
if it's going the 18 plus road with how gory and bloody it's gonna be, hey, that's all I'm saying. Imagine an X. Oh, no.
I mean, it's pretty obvious. The
claw
claw, yeah.
The PlayStation.
Yeah.
And with blood dripping or something like that, and then Wolverine or something like that.
Claws, like scratching across the plates or something. Yeah.
Something like that would be epic. But wait, you want to say anything about this topic?
No, not much.
Kind of talked about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But I will add, I'm sorry, Omar, real quick though. I will add, like, as you were right, like, like the hype of it, like, like you said, everybody was hype about the plates and the controller and everything. And that's essentially right at that time, that's when that rumor all came out about how Spider-Man was meant to be a multi-plat. Like, as soon as people were talking about the plates and the controllers and, oh, I got it, or oh, I didn't get it, and everybody, it was trending, that's when the fanboys came out and started tweeting about, oh, Spider-Man was supposed to be multi-plat. And I'm just like, they can't let us have nothing. We're just over here minding our PlayStation business, and here they come. But I'm just like, all right.
I bet you money this game didn't exist before Insomniac talked about it.
It didn't, because the actual story was that Sony made a deal or whatever they did with Marvel that they could make an exclusive game using one of their IPs. They went to Insomniac and said, you can make any game you want out of these IPs, right? And they went for Spider-Man. So there was no Spider-Man game that was offered to Sony, or Sony bought the rights to make it. No, they chose to make Spider-Man.
Yeah. It's crazy how if you give your cat creative freedom, you don't handcuff them, they deliver. It's crazy. I know it really is.
Yeah.
Let's just move on. Our next topic is Xbox revenue. I'm gonna combine that one with the PlayStation one to show the duality. Xbox revenue is when it comes to the console sales is down, and apparently Xbox Game Pass subscription is up, but they didn't address how much they have. And that's about it.
So they were vague as per usual.
They said gaming revenue was up by like what, 1%?
Yeah, it was really low.
Yeah, real talk. I think it was around 1%.
It wasn't no higher than 3. I know that. It was a single digit number, and it was like 3 or below.
So, Xbox hardware has been off of this generation. Xbox Series is now behind Xbox One in shipment. Series S is not selling well anywhere. Series X has been too long to become available, and is still on the old 7nm process, while Sony updated PS5 to 6nm. I don't know what 6nm means. And PS5 is seeing record sales. Xbox hardware team was better in the Xbox One generation. Focusing on xCloud has hampered potential console growth, which also limits Game Pass growth. Real talk, during the whole Activision Blizzard fiasco, Microsoft came out and admitted that they prioritized their cloud division over chips for Series X. So they sabotaged themselves and they're now crying about it.
Yep.
Microsoft had to sidestep this by converting gold subs to Game Pass core subs. Yeah, that's what they're doing. This is why gold is going away.
I mean, we talked about that though, artificially inflating the numbers for
Yep.
Game Pass to make it look like a rise because gold went away.
Yeah.
Which will conveniently happen around the time that Starfield releases, so it's gonna look look what Starfield did.
Yeah, so and then we go to the next installment, which is the PlayStation. It just sold over 40 mil.
Congrats to PlayStation.
Hey,
Deserved.
I know you guys expected me to talk just about it, but I tried to do the whole E3 when Sega was like talking all these numbers, and then PlayStation was like $299.
I mean, essentially.
It's literally that. It's literally that. You're like, how are you dropping this ball so hard?
I mean, like I said, PlayStation is on the right track. They need to keep it up. We need to continue to see, the results of what we've seen so far. Next year needs to deliver. Because in the conversation which I was having with Morgan, I was saying, as much as a good year as this was, it was largely because of all the games from a lot of places, not specifically from PlayStation. PlayStation typically in their third year is like their stride. And the way I explain it, have you ever seen somebody run like the 100 meters? You have the way that they start, leaning over, then they start to get up, and then they're in their stride, like their full stride. That's usually when PlayStation's in full stride, when you're getting like the onslaught of just game after game after game from the first party. And we haven't seen that as much. So I'm anticipating the fourth year being that stride, as well as later in the year, probably the end of next year, the PlayStation 5 Pro. They really need to make sure that they're on their P's and Q's. The way the industry's been kind of crazy and been all over the place. So, good job getting to 40 million. But obviously, we need to see 100+ million, and we're on track, and they're tracking ahead of PlayStation 4 sales. We need to keep it that way. But ultimately, PlayStation fans respond to one thing and one thing only. That's good games. Yeah, period. We want the games. Yeah, exactly. Don't let Twitter fool you. Don't let all that nonsense fool you. Like, when the games drop, all them people talking shit, they playing too. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, you'll see it. They're all gonna be on Spider-Man day one. Don't let them fool you.
Mm-hmm. They be out here on it.
You like shout out to Thrash. They say it. He says all the time. They are the biggest PlayStation fans.
Exactly.
Because they talk about it and they play their game.
Yeah, they did day one.
You don't see me talk about Gears. You don't see me play Gears. I played, but Halo. You don't see me talk about Halo or play Halo. I used to back when console banter was a thing, but now that I've been way more outside of it, I don't care what Halo does. Halo is Halo. Let them do their thing. If out of Microsoft, all their IPs, the only IP that I ever loved was
Ori.
Yeah, thank you. How did you know?
Because you talk about it all the time.
I mean, when you love a game that much.
Oh yeah, I'm not faulting you. I just know. Yeah.
So that's the number one. And if I have to go with two, it might be the new game that they have been revealed by Rare, the one with the blues or the jazz music. And
oh yeah.
I forgot what it was. Night something, Night Stalker, Night something. Like that stuff looking amazing. I need that in my life. If I see the gameplay and it's looking great, sign me up. I got my 4070 ready.
Oh man, he's talking like a PC gamer now, yeah.
I mean, no, but
I
that's
love
the
it.
thing though. I don't need an Xbox if their
Oh
games are
man.
day one on
Oh
PC.
man.
So
That's the real Xbox slogan is I don't need one.
I mean,
I don't need an
it's a
Xbox.
factual statement
Shit, I'm about to
though.
be right there with you with my freaking iPad. Like,
Okay.
oh man.
So yeah, playing PlayStation selling 40 mil. Um. They f- they wanna sell 50 mil by the end of this year. You guys,
Yeah,
they think they're gonna make it?
I think with
Yeah,
Spider Man.
I
Oh
think
yeah.
they'll make it. Spider Man's on the way. You got some other big hitters coming this fall. Helldivers is looking real great.
Yes.
Oh, Helldivers too. Real talk, the only game that I think it's not gonna miss, it's not gonna be there is Terra Blade. I believe this
Yeah.
game
I
is
thought yeah, that's
delayed.
delayed because they haven't mentioned it in their little 13 games coming this
It
year. Like they haven't talked about it
disappeared
at all.
out of the map.
Yeah. Oh.
Um, we PlayStation 10 in 40 mil.
Uh, yeah, as expected. I mean, it's the games that matter, and I have no complaints whatsoever with PlayStation or the
Mhm.
Switch for that matter. But you know, you can see why Xbox is lacking, and the only way they seem to be able to compete is buying everything under the horizon, and then some. But we already had that discussion, so let's not go in there again.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, congrats to PlayStation for that. I mean, well, we were there day one, so we certainly helped. Um,
Yeah, so I have
Mhm.
a question. Do you guys care that PlayStation sold that much, or it's just another
Um,
day?
not for the number specifically, like not for like I care because the more consoles that are out there, the bigger the market. That means
Exactly.
the easier it is, and
mhm.
for PlayStation to secure third party, right, and for third party to make PlayStation a priority, right? Like you don't want to
Exactly.
skip out on the biggest market right out there, like the biggest console market. Well, right now it's of course still the Switch, but as far as like the main powerhouses between PlayStation, Xbox, PC, as far as the console market goes, you don't want to skip out on PlayStation, and developers, especially the smaller developers who may not have necessarily like the resources to prioritize everybody, right? And we've seen that, right? That they'll make sure to prioritize the PlayStation over Xbox if they don't have the resources and the money and the manpower to develop for multiple consoles. They usually pick PlayStation because that's where the bigger fan base is, and of course that's the people that are more likely to purchase your game, right? So yes, I do care about the number in a sense that the higher that number is, the better experiences and the better chances I have to experience more games. So yes.
Okay, interesting. Um, anyone have anything else to say about this topic when it comes to Xbox or PlayStation?
No, I mean we
Um,
obviously know the state.
yeah,
We obviously know the state of things. The results are what they are. For very good reason. Ultimately at the end of the day, like we said, it's about the games, and like Morgan said, the only real reason we care about the numbers is because we know what that does when they run the numbers internally, and to make sure that they prioritize PlayStation, or make sure that they don't miss out on the sales potential that we offer. Being one of the highest console sales around. That solid attach rate to an amazing game, we'll buy it. Um, so yeah, it just is what it is. Like I said, always about the games. That never changes. Like I said, that's the only thing I'll say about that going forward. Like I said, is that PlayStation just needs to continue to really strive and kind of run that into the ground. As far as getting these games out there, and good games. Amazing games, great games. That's the key, not just
Mm-hmm.
releasing whatever. Because we
Yep.
saw the results of Redfall. Um, so
That wasn't their fault. That wasn't Xbox's fault.
yeah,
That was Bethesda.
now they ain't got no, now they don't take credit, so, but that's the result. You don't release something that's not really that good, and here are the results. So it's like you continuously give us game after game after game, like PlayStation has done for the last 27 plus years, whether it be third party or whatever. Then that's what they do. Like I said, just obviously going forward, the water is a little more treacherous. So they need to be on their P's and Q's. They need to have, everybody out here in these streets, because there ain't much left in the AAA third party market. I mean, what's there is still really solid, but losing any of what's left, it would not bode well. I mean, you're talking about major players, especially for PlayStation, at this point, and that's really the key going forward, is making sure not only their first party is on point, but making sure their relationships or potential acquisitions or whatever's going to happen going forward is maintained, because you do not, as PlayStation, you do not want to lose any of these key franchises, whether it be Persona, Persona 6 going forward, whether it's anything that RGG Studio makes, whether it is Take-Two, with Grand Theft Auto, absolutely freaking not. Like you just like
you can't miss that, dog.
Yeah, you can't miss that.
Yeah,
Like,
about that, you saw what happened with CD Projekt Red?
No, I didn't.
They laid off more than 100, I think.
Oh yeah, the layoffs, yeah.
100 people.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
So it's rough out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, their revenue went up like crazy, and then they went from that to like being in development for the DLC, and then they ramp down to ramp up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we also see that with devs all the time, right? Like, they ramped up to like 600 to 800 or something like that, something crazy. They're coming to an end. They're about to release the DLC for Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, and then they're going into production on their next game, and then most likely the people who weren't essential for going forward, with the next game, whether it's The Witcher 4 or whatever they're working on, those people just weren't necessary. So yeah, it's sad, but I mean, CD Projekt Red definitely has no money trouble after selling over 20 million copies of Cyberpunk 2077. So I know that's not it. So yeah, it's just the way the industry turns, in this case, and those people were just moving on to other projects, it seems. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I will say though, like in terms of like, oh my bad, I'm sorry, but in terms of acquisitions and stuff like that, and the prospect of Xbox picking up more publishers and developers or whatever, I do feel like if one good thing did come out of this Activision acquisition, it was that it kind of forced both Xbox and PlayStation, but in this term, in this way, Xbox, to kind of lay out their game plan. Like, a lot of what they were trying to do got pushed out, and laid to the public. Like, oh, they were trying to get this. They had a list of different developers and publishers that they were trying to pick up. Like, and hopefully, if PlayStation didn't know that already, like, I'm sure, when you're in the gaming industry, you hear things and things that, your competitor is doing. But if they didn't know, hopefully this put a kick in Sony's butt. Like, look, Microsoft's serious out here. Like, so if you need to make some partnerships or secure some games or do whatever, like, you just know, Microsoft is out here trying to get any and everybody. So, like, you've been warned. You see the game plan, you see the list, you see the emails, you see all this stuff. So hopefully the executives at PlayStation are taking it serious and like, all right, we need to make a game plan. But yeah,
exactly.
By the way, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, wake up.
Hey, the reason why I almost like blissed through the whole Xbox and PlayStation topic is because when we beat the dead horse to death, it's like, how many times do you have to say it's a game, dude? It's all about the game.
It's called gaming, not acquisitions. Like, none of us are playing acquisitions. We're playing games. So, no.
It's crazy.
I'm just waiting for the conversation on gaming Twitter to change. Like, I'm
Oh, I know.
tired of seeing Microsoft, Activision, blah blah blah, court cases, court documents, emails. Oh, this person said this. I'm like, I don't care, y'all. Can we just move on to like games? Let's talk about games. What's coming up? What are you playing?
Again, to just that key point going forward is just like it's such a stark contrast to, like I said, what they want to paint the community as versus PlayStation dudes all over my timeline. They're playing RPGs, JRPGs. A bunch of them are playing Remnant 2, going crazy. Some of the PC homies are jumping in on it. Some of them even doubled down and bought it on PlayStation to play with their PlayStation homies. This is what I'm seeing on my timeline. Is people just playing games.
You know what I saw a few bit, not on my timeline, but in general, people are actually hurt, that people are excited about Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, they are. And they're trying every which way to discredit people's excitement for it.
It's like it's a multiplayer though.
Yeah, but they're upset because again, it's the toy on the playground they can't play with currently, largely because the thing that makes them more upset is the reason. It's because of the device we told them was a problem. So now they're more upset because what PlayStation fans have been saying all along was true. And the Series S is the reason they're not getting the game the same day as PlayStation, which we told them. And the further you go, and the more demanding these games get, and all the things you can't scale, and all the things that are going to be a problem for that system to run are going to continue to cause issues for them, and may ultimately result in a particular company skipping Xbox altogether. You know, they're just like, it's not going to deliver the experience that we want from our, our game going forward. So we're going to make an executive decision and just not bring it to Xbox. That's not what they want to hear, but
multiplayer, and they care. They want to discredit that. It's like, but here's the thing: it's a people-owned excite. Like I watched Chris Wright had to explain why he is excited about Baldur's Gate 3. I'm like, dude.
No, it's because these idiots thought they had a gotcha moment with Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. Because idiots and stupid people, I'll call by name, like the new legal, who went to go try and find the remaster of the PS4 version and then say that Chris didn't play it because he thought that was the game everybody was talking about, being an idiot, when not knowing that the original Baldur's Gate actually predates even the launch of Twitter. But, some people are just too stupid to Google properly and don't know what they're talking about, in a rush to try to get somebody. And, would know anyone who is excited for this game, largely it is so because they've played Divinity Original Sin, either 1 or 2, which is the company who is behind it. It's their previous game, and that is most what this game plays like. And it's just like a very souped up, crazier version than even Divinity Original Sin 2, and that is where the excitement is really coming in from, and that game has done phenomenal. But again, they wouldn't know because they didn't play it.
But they're hurt about you being like that's what
I know.
I'm
It
not
makes
getting.
no sense. It makes no sense.
They like since when became being excited like it's outside of the console war.
It's because it's an RPG and they think it takes away from people's potential excitement for Starfield. They see it as a Starfield competitor and they don't like that.
That's a good way of putting it. I didn't think about it like that.
Oh no, they're definitely looking at it like a Starfield competitor. They're both Western style RPGs, even though they're very, very different for the record.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna play both of them. It's just again,
and like, oh no, PlayStation has an RPG that they can play. Since it's gonna be kind of delayed for Xbox for a little bit until they figure out how to get it to work. So it's kind of a PlayStation exclusive right now. So they're like, they're upset because, and it's not only PlayStation gamers that are praising it, like reviewers and stuff as well. So it's kind of pissing them off that this is kind of taking away, that at least they feel it's taking away from Starfield, the attention. So that's the reason.
Instead of being mad about Microsoft and Bethesda for not pushing Starfield hard enough, they would rather cry about. Oh, hey, yo.
It's like Starfield's gonna have its time. When a month before, I'm sure marketing's gonna ramp up, and it's gonna be the game that everybody's talking about. Like, damn, like let other games have their time to shine. Like, it's okay. Like, it's Bethesda. The game's gonna be fine. Like, it's gonna be okay.
I don't believe it's going to be, but hey, that's not my
Oh
opinion.
man. Oh man.
I genuinely believe they're gonna, hit the bed with this one.
Oh, don't do that, man. Come on.
Hey, I know your
Oh.
name. You wanna strangle me right now, but hey.
Now listen, he's gonna be playing he's good. He's gonna be playing the best version of that
I know.
game.
Oh yeah, he's
fine.
gonna play it
He's
60
gonna have the
FPS
mods
for the judge.
support. He got his little 4.9. He gonna be playing at 4K, 60, whatever. He's good. He's fine.
Exactly.
4K, Black K, all that K,
Mm-hmm.
our K. But yeah, I think we beat it to death. The last oh yeah, so you wanted to talk about the topic, Morgan, right?
Oh yeah. What was it? It was in terms of about the next gen kind of upgrades, like the pros for ps5 and whatever they call like the pro version of the Series X, if they have one. It was a good topic that
So you're talking about an Xbox quote unquote pro.
Yeah, whatever they, because who knows the naming schemes of these things, but whatever they call their pro console. People I saw on an Xbox podcast, I forgot, I think it was like RDX or something. They were talking about whether or not Xbox should have a pro, and they were given pretty good reasons for both. They were like, it shouldn't, because it could possibly alienate all those people, even more alienate the Series S's from like a definitive version, right? So you got like 2 other SKUs that are crazy higher, right? And then other people were saying they should, because if they don't, then now PlayStation's gonna beat them in the power narrative, right? And Xbox, they claimed that's what they're gonna have above PlayStation. Now, they're never gonna be beaten in the power narrative again, right? That was their thing.
But
So it's
haven't
like,
PlayStation been beating it right down with the power narrative?
yeah, they were talking about on paper, like not necessarily in practice, but on paper at least they would have the quote unquote more powerful system. So I was just wondering what you guys think. Like, should they, and why they should, or if it's a good idea, and do y'all feel like it would alienate Series S owners, or also another negative that they said that they thought that was pretty good. There was like, it would make it even harder for developers. Like, that's 3 SKUs of Xbox now that they have to develop for. So there were some pretty good reasons for and against. So I was curious what you guys think
about that. What is name me one game that have pushed the Xbox Series S forward?
The S.
You mean the X?
Series X, sorry.
Yeah.
Forward.
X.
Yeah.
I would probably say,
in the sense of visuals, in sense of naming one game that did something new for Xbox Series X that we haven't seen elsewhere.
I would I would guess that's going to be Starfield, since it's such a grand game. It's going to be capped at 30. So I guess that's technically going to be their first one to really push the Series X to its quote unquote limits, at least for now. But I guess that's Starfield.
Fair point. Outside of Starfield, nothing, right? Like Halo wasn't it. Gears wasn't it.
Flight Sim, I guess. I don't know.
My point, what I'm trying to make is, why would you, as a console owner, ever want a new Series X Plus when the current one haven't done shit for you?
The funny thing is, Omar, that was one of the points they were making. They're like, we feel like this gen just kind of started for us.
But the PlayStation, we have seen the PlayStation is far ahead. Like PlayStation, not only
games from the jump,
with games, like we have 2 different type of games that yet to be implemented any elsewhere. Like first one is PlayStation with the one cut only, which is God of War, and the other one would be a game on the level of what you call it, Horizon Forbidden West. Up till now, it's being hailed as the best looking game
Uh,
out there.
Ratchet and Clank too. Definitely
Ratchet and Clank as
technically.
well. That's a big
Yeah.
star movie, and Ratchet and Clank is doing something with the SSD that no other game so far have yet been doing. Not to mention, you have games like Last of Us 2 that have yet to be touched. So no, Microsoft shouldn't even entertain the thought of making a new console when they haven't done shit with their old one. But hey, that's just my opinion. When your console being constantly being getting destroyed by a PlayStation that's on quote unquote on paper is weaker, you gotta ask yourself, is it the console or is it the software that's not delivering? Okay, let's say Microsoft Xbox can't do Ratchet and Clank, like for example with the speed because of the SSD or something like that. Shouldn't they at least be close to that?
I mean, they are close to that. I mean, they have
But we
they
haven't
have
seen
an
a
SSD.
game
It's just not
that
as
does
fast.
so. We haven't seen a game on them that make use of their SSD in a unique way.
I mean, and you probably won't. I mean, their main thing is they wanted to have the power narrative, which
The power narrative,
ultimately,
yeah.
yeah, ultimately you see how very little that actually matters if you don't. Like I told you, consoles are a very different dance than PC, right? Like even when we went for your PC, top tier is everything. The highest you can go, the better, right? But consoles are about designing the entire product to be balanced and then also utilized in a way that delivers performance beyond what a similar spec PC would give you. Like to achieve what certain games play like on the PlayStation 5, your PC has to be significantly more expensive. That means you can do other things with it and all these other things and all these other benefits of PC, which is fine. But again, that's the problem, and this is why we always tell people the direct representation of teraflops or this, that, and the third are not the only real measurements that you really go by when you're talking about consoles. And that's why
Mark
Mark
Cerny tried to
Cerny,
tell him.
exactly, he was like, hey, this is how you put this together, how this flows through this with the Kraken system. And then, because of the high speed SSD, we can unfold, everything so much faster, save more storage space, use a higher texture mapping, to you don't get any more pop in, and you don't get this, and all these little different things that are linked together that are proprietary in the system is where they really shine, right? All
Yep.
the way down to the firmware, which is another key, right? There was an instance not too long ago where Smooth said something, and his Xbox was freaking out, which again, consoles are supposed to have fail safes to prevent this, but basically it allowed him to use too much of the storage, and it basically ran out of storage to run the OS on his system, and his system was in like a loop where it was just freaking out. Like, again, that shouldn't happen, but again, that's a product of bad design. A company should never allow that to happen, which is something, again, where I say PC lets everything happen. It's the Wild West.
Closed
It's open
system
season.
versus open system. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, a lot of these people don't realize that, but it's like, I mean, look at what PlayStation has done with what they've got so far. And it's like the issue for them is largely what Morgan asked originally in her question was, did they shoot themselves in the foot? And ultimately they did, because the Series S is already proving to be a problem. And
Yeah.
if you just want to take advantage of higher, more power and so on and so forth, like that's all well and good. That's a lot easier than going down. But like you said, it's too many SKUs now, because they'd have 3 SKUs versus the PlayStation, which what's his name? Gamer MD asked. He tried to ask it in a way where he thought it'd be an issue for PlayStation, and I was like, no, not at all, because the PlayStation
But
5.
he's being genuine, eh? He's
No,
not
no, I
being
mean,
cold.
yeah, he was curious, but the reason I said like he should be the last person to ask that because I know he had a PS4 Pro, and anyone who had one, especially if you had it for a long time, like I did from day one, you know that the PlayStation 4 Pro, all they ever did was they designed it from the ground up for the PlayStation, and then they added in all the things that they couldn't do. And like, hey, here's a 60 FPS mode. Or hey, in this case, now you get 60 FPS and you get the fidelity mode all in one, plus this. It's all about the additives. It's how you utilize what else it's capable of. They didn't just out design the old hardware, right? The PlayStation 5 is perfectly still capable, and that's fine. What this is using it and utilizing it like they should, as an enthusiast level gaming device. And, that gives us the ability to play at the absolute best when on PlayStation. So yeah, but yeah, Microsoft definitely messed up with that.
Yeah, because it's like, if they do, if PlayStation makes a Pro and it's at the specs that everybody's rumoring it at, but rumors are rumors, so we don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna be beating Series X and all these comparisons, right? Of course, But then it's like, then what does Series X have at that point? Like it's just.
That's a good question.
And that's why I was like, so it's like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Like, it's like, what are they to do? Because like I said, that'll be 3 SKUs that Xbox has to have developers develop for. Like I said, they're already frustrated with the S, as we clearly see. And now they would have another system that they had to have to keep in mind of. And I don't know, maybe it's the policy that Xbox made mandatory that you have to develop for both the X and the S. Like, you can't just choose. You have, if you're gonna make a game for Xbox, it has to be with both of those in mind. And maybe if they lifted that requirement, maybe it would be a lot easier. But of course, I know they're not going to, because as far as the sales go, the split between the X and the S currently, I have I bet my next check that the S is. There's more S's out there than there are X's right now.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Dark 95. Mm-hmm. He called it. He's like,
yeah,
Microsoft's biggest is the S and not the X.
Yeah, and it's just like,
which is why you haven't seen a single game built around the X.
Yeah, and if most of your customer base is majority on the weaker scale, you can't just leave them behind or give developers the option, because of course, major third party, they're most likely gonna include the S, because they have the resources, they have the manpower, they have the time, the money to develop for the S. But like the smaller companies, the indie developers, the ones that are kind of relying on like Kickstarter, the ones that this is their first game, like developers and stuff like that, I feel like they would opt to skip on the S, and S customers will be, rightfully so, would be very upset. They'd be like, well, you sold me this, but there's these developers that aren't developing for it, so I'm missing out on games. So, and I feel like Xbox knew that was a possibility, so that's why they made it mandatory. But yeah, so it's like the Pro for the X, it's just like I don't know how Xbox would handle that. And Phil already came out and said, or something similar, I don't want to misquote him, about that they weren't looking to make a Pro or something like that they're good right now, and that might change. He might just said, like, as far as right now we're good. Then of course they're working on it in R&D right now. They're always working on backups in the next generation, so it's in development, or it's on the shelves right now. But as far as them releasing it, I don't know, and it's just like I don't know if they should or not. So yeah, that's why I was interested to see.
I don't know what they shouldn't.
Yeah.
If right now, from the sound of it, Baldur's Gate is not hitting Xbox, it's because of Series S.
Yeah, it's what the co-op or whatever. Yeah, it's just not working or something like that.
how you gonna screw yourself even further by now handcuffing your and giving developers even more problem to work with?
They're like, damn, we got 3 SKUs now, my guy.
Yep.
Yeah, I just don't know. I understand why, from like a business point, why the Series S is a thing. You know what they're selling. What Microsoft's and Xbox's main selling point right now is Game Pass, and so what you want to do is give the people who are console gamers a low entry point, a low cost entry point into Game Pass, and that's what the Series S is. It's a Game Pass machine. It's just for people who want to play Game Pass, right? They don't really care about the bells and whistles of games. They just want to play the games, and they want cheap, easy access, which is cool, fine, great, consumer friendly. But then when you think about it in terms of development and like the possibilities and what happens when at the beginning of the gen, developers are still trying to get kind of their feet wet. They're trying to understand these consoles, learn what they can and what they can't do. They're still learning, right? But then when you get to the mid and the end, when they know their way around them, it's just like at that point when they know the Series S's weaknesses and stuff, and they're trying to push forward and innovate when it comes to gaming, and then you have this kind of low end. I'm not kind of trying to disrespect the Series S, but when you have this kind of a lower spec console that
you don't need to disrespect it. See, it's already something.
Like you got this kind of lower end kind of console. It's just like you can only do so much. And if I was an Xbox fan, like a Xbox main, like I don't know, I'd kind of be mad because I'm just like, I want. Because when I get an Xbox, it's going to be a Series X, and I want the Series X to be pushed. You want to get your $500 worth, like push this machine. Let me see what it can do. I'm not expecting it. I'm not expecting Jesus to walk on water on it. Of course, there's limits to it, but I really want to see what this machine's capable of. And then I'm always just going to be wondering, like, could it have been better if the Series X wasn't around? But yeah, it is what it is with the Series S. I just don't know if it's just this big handicap for Xbox or not.
What do you think Xbox fans should focus on now? Series X or a game?
Games. I just want them to focus on games.
Games. It'd be nice. Games, But, plenty of them admitted they like to play Twitter, not games. So, I mean, I guess there is that.
Yeah. What do you think, Weeb? You think they should? They shouldn't?
Are you the host? What do you think, Weeb?
Yes, I am. I took over.
Yes.
Morgan take over.
At least somebody cares.
I care about what you think, Weeb.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, you hit the nail on the head. They screwed themselves over with the Series S, because if Sony releases a PS5 Pro, then they would have to respond, because, like I said, he was never going. We're never going to lose the power narrative again. So he has to, if he wants to fulfill a promise, he has to release a more powerful, series console.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then he's gonna screw over. It's not gonna mean anything if he can't. If he still has to support the S, it's gonna be even more of a dead weight than it already is.
Yep.
So yeah, they're fucked, basically.
Yeah, I'm just like, well, I don't know what they're gonna do. Like, I don't know.
Okay. I think
that's the game you're talking about, by the way, on the screen right now.
Yeah, that's the game. I'm all right. The one that's on the screen, the one that you're interested in.
Give me a second.
Yeah, it's like they're in Louisiana or whatever.
Yeah, a little bayou or
whatever.
whatever.
Yeah, this one, yeah. Like, this look fresh, this look new, this look
like art style.
interesting. This, real talk, no console war, no stuff, remind me how Scalebound was revealed.
Oh,
They revealed Scalebound.
But don't jinx it.
I thought you were gonna say Concrete Genie.
I like it. It looks very stop motiony. I hope that's how they
I mean,
how it's gonna
yeah,
look when it comes
Complete
out.
Genie
I
is
like that.
another one.
It does.
But
Also, it's
yeah,
South of Midnight. That's what it's called, Omar. South of Midnight.
Yeah,
Dark at Midnight.
Compulsion,
So yeah.
by the way, not Rare.
Oh wait, who's making that again?
Compulsion.
But,
Compulsion.
oh, Compulsion. Okay,
Compulsion's making that.
Okay.
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 Yeah, we still haven't heard of Everwild from Rare.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what that is? But yeah.
Oh, is it maybe Everwild?
No. 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 We still don't know what Everwild is. They still haven't shown us since like what 2020 or 2021 or whatever.
Omar,
I
how
mean,
is that Everwild?
apparently
It's made by
rumors this
different
one got
developers.
rebooted 3-4 times.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like
What were
it's
you
gonna be a
saying,
minute
Leaf?
for.
What were you saying, Weep?
I said can this be Everwild if it's made by a different developer?
Oh, I thought that's why that's what the developer was. Oh no, that one Rare. Never mind. Compulsion and Rare, different companies. Oh, I'm bad. I'm not
You just
that
got
well
mixed up.
with. Yeah, I got them mixed up. Yeah. Um. Okay. So another game is revealed to be digital only. This one is The Man with No Name or Forgotten Name, which is the next Yakuza either installment or it's an
It's a
you know?
shorter Gaiden, basically.
Okay. So yeah, about that. How do you guys feel? Another game, digital only.
Yeah, man. Moving to a digital age, unfortunately. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna. I don't know if it's just kind of stick to games that are kind of smaller projects, or I don't know if it's gonna be a gaming industry wide thing as of yet. I feel like there's still too many areas in gaming as far as like countries and stuff that still can't do digital only, that still rely on physical media and things like that because of like lack of internet or lack of other things, or just they're cheaper, stuff like that. But I don't know, I feel like maybe by the end of ps6 or something, maybe beginning of ps7, maybe we'll be at a digital only thing. I mean, I hope not. Like, it's not something I'm looking forward to, but I don't know. It just seems like it's becoming a slow but steady trend among games. I hope it doesn't though. But that's just the way all of these different mediums, whether it's movies or whatever, are just kind of moving towards. But we'll see.
Mm-hmm. And the next topic is going to be, as for me, I'm not a fan of it. I'm literally watching the death of physical media in front of my face, and I'm absolutely not a fan of it. And sadly, sad thing is, we don't have a power over it. The final topic. This is a warning. Before I say warning, shout out to everyone that came through, but for the people that haven't finished Final Fantasy 16, this is where this show is over, because we're now going into spoiler territory. So if that's where you stop, then thank you for coming through. Hit that like button and see you next week. For the rest, it took us a while, but we have people that actually play games and not just talk about them. So we're finally here to discuss the polarizing that is Final Fantasy 16. Um, and Nate, you get the floor. What you enjoyed, what you disliked, spoiler cast, anything goes. Go ahead.
Uh, yeah. I mean, ultimately, like I said, I enjoyed my time with the game. For what it was. You know, an action game with RPG elements. Um, the
Barebone.
yeah, what was there. Uh, the lack of itemization and customization uh, was terrible. Like I hated that. At one point, I even mentioned to Morgan while we were playing through the Final Fantasy mode. I was like, "Man, can I at least change the color of his outfit or something, like to make this more interesting while I'm having to go through this next mode?" Like,
When you get that jacket, you're like, cool. You're like, okay, a new change of outfit. Am I gonna get more of that?
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
basically,
expecting
yeah,
something end game where you get a different outfit. I know it's sentimental and stuff like that, but like upgrade it.
yeah.
Especially you're going to fight Ultima, you wanna be look representable.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't like I said, I don't know why they went that route entirely. I mean, that's something that I look forward to in RPGs specifically. Being able to switch up your gear, and change the way you look. So I mean, that was disappointing. Like I said, from that standpoint, um, a lot of the weapons and stuff like that were largely just a stat or two difference. They didn't really do anything unique. Even up until Ultimate Weapon, like none of them did anything unique.
Even
Um,
Ultima Weapon didn't do anything unique, so far I know.
no, it didn't. That's what I said. Yeah, I said even Ultimate Weapon didn't.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
said the only I heard the only one was Ultimate Weapon that did something unique. My bad.
Yeah, no, that it didn't. So none of them did. Um, so again, that was another disappointing aspect. Uh, Again, the lack of itemization. You know, two accessories or whatever that barely did anything outside of a little bit of defense and some negligible HP. That was kind of like whatever. You don't see them. They don't show on your person or anything. So it's just again another item that doesn't really do much of anything. Um, I did like uh, the inclusion of a lot of the starter rings and stuff. I didn't really use any of them outside of the one that slows down and like gives you R1 to dodge because
Berserker ring, the best ring in the game. You mean?
yeah, but I'm not referring to those right now. I'm not talking about the rest of
Which
the
one are you talking
accessories.
about?
I'm talking about the accessibility rings. I'm not talking about all accessories right now.
Oh, the accessibility. I didn't touch them.
Yeah, I mean that's fine, but I'm saying I like the inclusion of that because
Okay.
that showed me that they were learning. I said although I didn't really use any of them, with the exception of, the one that uh, allows you to press R1 in order to dodge, largely because a lot of what was happening on screen was overly frantic, and half the time I couldn't even see the damn character. So
Which one is
rather
that?
than give myself, an issue, I was like, I'll just use this so I can at least see when to dodge. It's not the auto dodging one. It's the one
Oh,
that you have
oh,
to
the
press
one that
R1.
warn you.
Yes,
Okay, I see you.
yeah, because honestly, I honestly felt like the way the game is, and the visibility when fighting in a lot of instances, that it made the most sense because a lot of stuff is just really badly telegraphed. So a lot of times people are hitting. You couldn't tell me people weren't dodging plenty of times without that when they didn't actually need to dodge because the timing is actually really specific, and
Um,
half the time they don't telegraph tons of the skill sets. Even with it on, sometimes it's still the dodging still messes up.
the
So
only thing
yeah,
that I had that moment was Ultima final boss fight. That's when I'm like, yeah. If I don't keep dodging, I'm gonna take damage. Most of the time, I'm like, that's easy to dodge, that's easy to dodge. But outside of that, it's the Ultima that gave me that and Odin boss fight. Both of them made me really dodge, without like reason to do so, just to make sure I don't take damage. But I got you. Um, it's what's your thought on the accessories? What it brought to the table?
No, well, that's what I was saying. Nothing. Like ultimately, outside of the Berserker ring, which altered the dodge and gave a reason for perfect dodging, increasing, um, his attack. Nothing else really did anything accessory wise. They were pretty basic. Some EXP, some AP, um, but yeah, ultimately they didn't really do much. Um, the other thing that I said that was an issue for me was, uh, although I did like the rings, they ultimately should have been an accessibility menu. I don't know if that's like a weird thing with Japanese devs right now. Like they don't
Which one?
really have accessibility menus.
Oh, the ring should have been an accessibility menu. Okay, I
Yeah,
got
like
you on that
it
then.
shouldn't be taking up
I
space
mean,
in the ring slots. Like that's
they already
stupid.
screwed up with Berserker ring. That should have been an upgrade, not a ring.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I was saying that when we were talking about it early on that it should have been an upgrade to the perfect dodge. Like they literally have 3 upgrades to the perfect dodge, and it's like, why wasn't that just the master perfect dodge? Again, another weirdly missed opportunity, that makes you use another slot because ultimately everybody had that on in the end. Once
Yes,
either that or
nobody,
once they got it.
nobody I know didn't use them. It's not like it's a cheat. It's not. It teach it give you a reason to perfect dodge.
Yeah, it does. Um,
But what it does, it negate the reason to block or parry. Have you used Titan as much with it parry?
no, I mean, I took him off eventually.
You know why? For me, because it's just a parry. There is zero um, upgrade for it. You can upgrade it a little bit, but it's not like it does but way more damage or it it does multiple parries or stuff like that. Like now, one
Yeah,
parry
it
calls a
wasn't the
day.
best option in comparison. It was better to get the berserker effect and get
Yes,
the increased
yes.
damage and attack speed. So again, like ultimately best, accessory in the game. Um, but yeah, I mean those are essentially, like I said, a lot of the things I didn't like. The other thing I thought was kind of reductive was the amount of buttons we had for skills. I felt like X being jump all the time was pointless. I didn't understand
That
why.
pissed me off though.
Yeah, like
That should have
What?
been able to use, like how you can only use what, circle and square, or was it circle and
try, try,
square for,
Yeah,
Oh
triangle and
yeah,
um
square.
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, like why couldn't you
Um,
use X too? Like
yeah,
that
yeah.
should have been
This stuff,
a skill slot. Like come on now.
I
exactly.
believe that big move that should have been a button of its own that you can use with the two moves.
Oh yeah, the
Because
ultimate move. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, because what this does, it doesn't invite you to experiment with. You're not gonna keep two moves. You're gonna keep one move and one big move.
Well, what you are forced to because of the lack of button inputs, and that was again the problem, that we had with that. It's like you're giving us all these skills, and it's like you're essentially just giving us 6 when we could have had 9 at any given time frame and really kind of mix things up and really had like a crazy arsenal at our disposal, but we couldn't because we were so limited despite having all these skills available to us. So that was something else I didn't really like. A lot of people tried the whole thing saying this game was, easy to learn, hard to master. There was nothing hard to master about this game.
No,
yeah.
there wasn't. There wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, like
No.
I was going back and forth with someone and they were like, look at all this depth. Look at all this depth in this game. This combat. Look at all the
There
depth.
is zero depth.
Yeah,
in
I
the
was
game.
like, this game is about as deep as the kiddie pool that you had in your mama's backyard that they filled up with the hose. That took about 5 minutes.
Octopath Traveler 2 have more depth in its pinky than this game entire game. No, we're not doing that.
Exactly. Yeah, so this game has zero depth. I hate to tell people, yes, you can't just press square repeatedly for obvious reasons because you need to dodge. No one's not saying it doesn't take something.
No.
Yeah.
Normal mobs, I have a video of it. I absolutely stun lock them.
No. I mean, I know you can, but I'm not. That would be being facetious, like saying that you can just do that the entire game. Though
No,
there's
you can't
plenty
do it.
of
No,
normal mobs that'll
no.
bust your ass cheeks if you just did that. So
Yeah, of course.
you gotta combo and you gotta do stuff like that. But again, there's nothing complicated about any of the combos or anything like that. I will say the one thing that did improve as you went along was the side missions. They started off really bland. No, that they weren't the ones in the beginning were not some monumental dudes were acting like it was like a monumental revelation or something when they're like, you didn't just revel in the understanding and knowing that the guy who once was a king, who was he was now a carpenter in a band of people trying to survive. And I'm like, nigga, none of that was in that, bro. Calm down. Like, stop trying to make it so crazy. Like, one superpower showed up, ran you the fuck over, and this guy. No, but they're talking about the basic shit. Like the dude that was a carpenter in the beginning, they were saying it was extra special because he used to be like a king of one of the provinces or something, and now he's basically a carpenter. Really? Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly. You were supposed to look into that. You didn't know that, Weeb? You were supposed to look into that and be wowed by his background.
Oh, I was like, who are you talking about? Who?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm confused.
It's fucking exactly.
Are you talking about the carpenter that lost his family?
The dude that asked you to get wood. They asked you to get wood, and you go to the carpenter, and he gives you the wood. The dude gives you the wood. That little quest. Yeah, like one of them was like he used to be like a king or something of one of the provinces, and they were like someone who used to be or a duke or something like that. Basically, he had a high title. He was nobility. And they're like, now he's
okay.
But that's what I'm saying. Like there's all these weird inferments, and this is from the Final Fantasy podcast, dude. Like he was reading into all this stuff like way too deep. Like I'm like, look, dude, if you're not directly telling this in the story, like it's not gonna matter. And ultimately, no, I don't care that he used to do that. Motherfucker, we in this situation we in now because the world is ending and shit's going down. No one cares what you used to be. No, I don't find it fucking fascinating because ultimately in the end, every time when shit's going down, all that high and mighty shit goes out the window. Everybody gotta survive. Like that's just what it is.
To be fair, because of the voice acting was so good that basically it felt I can understand why he felt like reading into something with a carpenter or whatever, because they all talk like they were kings or whatever. So
the voice acting was good. I played it dub. English dub.
It's absolutely English dub, you mean. And it's actually the original soundtrack, so it's not actually dubbed. But but the voice acting definitely elevated the game, because I think I said it before. Like if you look at the writing, a lot of that is say the story is great, but a lot of the dialogues are either they're trying really hard to they looked up in the dictionary what's the most difficult English word I can use in this situation.
Oh my god. Don't talk about Barbados. Odin, entire monologue. I fell asleep.
Yeah, Odin got on my last fucking nerves.
And they're using a lot of sort of very cliche lines. That they're just like putting every possible cliche line in there. And things like, again, the voice actor saved this game, because if they had hired some, the Resident Evil voice actor, whatever, right, people will be all over this game for shitty dialogue, but you know these voice actors definitely saved Final Fantasy from being, at least in terms of dialogue and characters, being average, right? 'Cause- and
Mm-hmm.
that's
Shout
in
out
the
to
end
Ben
the thing that
Starr.
yeah,
So
but
what
that's
about
also
the
in the end
combat?
what I well fuck the combat. I mean,
The combat was
we
boring,
know
right?
it's yeah. I mean, it got a bit sort of
Repetitive.
repetitive in the end.
Idiot.
It's not that was boring, but it wasn't what it was made up to be. I think I said that before as well. Is that it's sort of over engineered to the point that it's too made too mainstream, sort of like too
Yes,
inoffensive. That
thank you.
everybody can jump into this. Shut off your brain. You don't have to. There's no learning curve whatsoever.
I can definitely see what Yoshi P thinks about the West
Mm-hmm.
from the
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
combat. Like they need their handheld apparently.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's such a missed opportunity, guys. Because they could like
Agreed.
I get like either go all the way, right? Make it character action, make it a game, that easy to learn and difficult to master, or go just old school turn-based RPG because it could have worked, right? The way this game is set up definitely could have worked as a turn-based RPG. Just say,
Not only that,
Mm-hmm.
were there any memorable bosses?
Like the boss fights.
yeah,
No.
the icons.
Yes, okay, yeah. No, I'm talking about memorable protagonist. Antagonist or protagonist? Which one is
Antagonist.
the
Antagonist is the
enemy?
bad guy. Antagonist.
Antagonist.
Antagonist is a bad guy, then antagonist it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
well, it's I get what you because you're going straight for the juggler with Odin. Definitely a letdown.
Beyond the
I'd say
letdown.
I'd say Ultima still worked for me, except for when you were actually like the final fight, because then he just sort of turned into the generic final boss. Like, how is this possible that you're defeating me? But like
Because the
before
power
that,
of humans.
he was absolutely great. Like it was so sinister and so like alien. Really,
Mm-hmm.
it worked for me. He was definitely sort of the well written, well acted bad guy. I think it was played by Harry Lloyd. The
Whoever he was,
he
he did a good job.
yeah, the guy from Game
I
of
loved.
Thrones.
I enjoyed his voice.
Yeah,
The way
yeah,
his
You
voice for
know
Ultima.
who I like
absolutely. Yeah.
more than Ultima? I would say Fugo. Fugo did actually something. He killed, he invaded your hideout and destroyed it.
Yeah.
Even though he got played by Odin.
Yeah, he really did.
Odin was such a letdown. You're like,
But Hugo kind of too, in the way that when he was introduced, he was just he was a dick, right? He was like the way that he was eventually turns out that he was just such a sap for what's her name, that had sort of like when he was
Benedicta?
Yeah. Benedicta, my love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she
yeah,
is.
initially
Yeah.
it was like, okay,
That nigga was down bad. I was like,
he
woof.
I said, I gotta kill all y'all.
he's just fucking around, right? He's fucking her because he can,
No,
he's
no,
an
no, no,
alpha
no,
male.
no.
But then
I really
but
believe he was in love with her, but I don't think she
while
was.
that
I don't
while
think
that
she was in love with him.
no, but that's also the story that they wrote in the end. But it kind of was a bit of a letdown that he. I mean, I get what they were trying to do, that they were trying to make him more sympathetic, but in the end, like he was a fucking asshole. Like he was the high school bully, right? And
Yeah,
they should have just
basically.
let him be that. That he's like, yeah, I didn't like. Oh, she's dead. Like I don't care. Like more hoes to go, or right. So
Yeah.
that's the way he was introduced. So that's kind of like it would have been a better villain if there was nothing redeeming about him. But I don't know, just me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I would take him over as a bad guy over Barnabas any time of the week.
Also, I hate that fucking name.
Barnabas?
Yeah.
Barnabas
so
was
fucking corny.
Shakespeare but boring.
I like Barnabas, bro. Don't hate.
How are you gonna make Odin boring?
Oh yeah, I mean his icon was boring, but I liked him as a character though.
No, his icon was actually cool. He was splitting reality.
No, I'm saying as far as the fight. The fight wasn't.
Yeah,
the boss fight.
Yeah.
The boss fight, the icon boss fight was boring, but the boss fight as a human was cool.
Yeah, that when he split the sea, I was like, oh my god, what are we doing right now? Yeah, like this man just here was Moses. I was like, okay, we just gonna fight in the ocean. Okay, that's fine. That's cool.
This game needed. This game should have had you switch between characters.
I think that would be cool.
Can you imagine playing as Joshua?
But the kind of the problem with Barnabas or whatever he's called was that you didn't really understand his motivation but you actually have to read the data files whatever what the hell was going on there. So
do you know how many times
blah blah blah. Yeah,
I paused after like the cutscene. I was like, okay, let me read up on this. Okay, so Barnabas did this and he was loyal to this. And then they did this. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm getting it. Yeah, I had to definitely use that glossary so many times. Oh man, I definitely wouldn't have got the story if it wasn't there.
A mother boy, he was.
Oh yeah, he was definitely a mama's boy.
Mm-hmm.
He's beyond that.
Yeah, he was.
I'm like, you just took the entire mother boy to an entire different atmosphere.
Yeah. Definitely took that to a Freudian level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm like, Japan. I know you're Japan, but like, dial it down.
Yeah, it was weird.
You're at max 1,000. I need you to go back to a 1, please.
I mean, I get it in terms of his character. Like,
I don't.
That's just who he is.
I really don't.
I do because it's broken. Like that's who he is. Like first it was his mom that he relied on, and then he switched to Ultima. Like he needs that. Like that's what he craves, the leadership like that.
I got you, but this is Ultima and not your mom. So how you gonna?
Yeah, but that's the joke. Is like he's supposed to be like the king of kings, but he's broken. Like
he was broken.
Yeah. It's like his handicap, but no one else knows about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was weird. But
hey,
but
also we're talking story. Yeah, we're talking story.
To Dion, what about I really like Dion.
Dion? Oh yeah. I like Dion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dion was cool. Shout out to the girl. Shout out to the little girl. The
medicine girl.
Dion up. She was a keeper. Welcome to, as a party member. I would have kept her as a party member. Let me explain.
Not a party member, though.
She would have been a fantastic. She would. Let me get my point, and you guys gonna agree with me 1,000%. She would have been a better hero than Torgo. I double dare you to disagree with me.
No.
You said that little girl with her little medicine pouch. No, I'm done, yo. Chill.
Torgo was dog shit.
Oh my god.
No pun intended. This dude healing was terrible.
You're not about to do that. All right.
Hey, I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it
was a real one. All right.
You're on some bullshit again, like usual.
Hey, tell me with a straight face. Tell me with a straight face that the Torgo's healing saved you. Go ahead.
Man, listen. That ain't Torgo's fault. All right, don't do that. Don't do that, man.
Torgo saved me.
Yeah, I'm about to say, how many times did Torgal save us though? That's the real question.
Oh yeah, no. Welcome to the outside and off air. No pun intended. He saved us a lot. However, when it comes to the actual story and mid fight and stuff like that, like he did nothing. His healing was
What the
terrible.
Oh
fuck?
man. All right,
I'm talking.
you
I'm
did
talking.
doing it
I'm
off the
talking.
podcast. Goodbye,
I'm
Omar.
talking about strictly combat wise, not when you're doing cutscenes. When in cutscenes, he
just
saved
said
us
the
a lot.
story. You just said the story. You did nothing. You did absolutely a lot in the story.
Hey, agree to disagree, I guess.
You just
No more
said,
disrespecting Torgal. All right, we're not doing that.
motherfucker, Omar. You can't even
Torgo
get a
was
narrative.
terrible. Torgo was terrible. Torgo, hey,
Y'all
Torgo was
listen to
terrible.
look, Omar does not represent this podcast. I
This
want that to
man
be known.
hated that dog.
Torgo was
Oh
terrible at the
man, Peter,
Torgo was
don't come for us because of him. All right, that's his
Torgo
thoughts
was
alone.
Torgo was terrible at healing. Terrible combat
Oh
was
man,
atrocious.
I know. Pet and Torgal was probably your last trophy. You know, you just rude, you just disrespectful.
Which one?
I said,
had to
I
pet
know
him
the
5
trophy
times.
for like petting him 5 times was probably one of
Petting
the
him?
last ones you got.
I did that when I was at that place where you first get your badge. I think the very first badge that you get. That's when I did it.
Don't
But
believe you.
Yeah.
again, Final Fantasy mode was atrocious.
Oh man.
It wasn't. Hey, I don't know about you guys, but I never used an elixir, not once.
Yeah, I didn't use an elixir. I did use that one thing though. I did finally figure like, which was another stupid thing. Like you had to equip it in order for it to work. In one of the 3 slots, which I thought was really fucking stupid. But I used the one where if you die, you come back to full health. I used that once when I was fighting something and I got off of
That
it.
actually worked? Because it never worked with me.
Yeah,
Every time I died,
no,
you
have
to.
to. Yeah,
you have to equip it.
No, so yeah, but it's stupid though because technically you have it, and it's supposed to be automatic, but you have to put it in your quick slots, which makes no sense because you yourself can't use it.
I was like, damn, I got that thing. So what the hell?
Is it broken?
Yeah,
I was wondering,
I was
is
the
it
same
for
way,
the
Omar.
show?
I was the same way. I thought it worked just like the potions or whatever. Like you just kept it and it just kind of
no, I completely get why you guys thought that because it's misleading because you have the potions. There's no reason it should be in a quick slot because you can't press it. It just goes off. But it's so dumb. You have to take up a slot. So it is, but you have to make it take up a quick slot.
Damn.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid. It's so stupid.
I was so mad because it was expensive too. I was
it is
so
expensive.
I'm gonna spend all that and you ain't gonna work.
yeah. So it did work.
I thought the same. I thought it was like a bug or a glitch or something. Okay. Damn.
I equipped it for like the final for like the final 2 battles. I think what's his name? I either died to Odin or Ultima. One of them. I think it was Ultima. I think he hit me with some bullshit. And I was running low on potions and I came back to full health or something and it worked and I was like, oh okay, it worked.
Damn.
One thing for sure, the game was easy in sense of you can chuck potions and keep it moving. There was 0 challenge. At least for me.
They honestly just made the enemies more spongier in Final Fantasy.
They did.
Yep.
They did. They didn't have any new
They weren't
moves.
hard. They just had more health.
Yeah.
They didn't have any new moves. They actually regressed. I don't know if you played 7 Remake, but 7 Remake have a hard mode called no pun intended hard, but it's actually difficult because what it does it removes the ability to regenerate MP. You can longer heal.
I'm gonna be honest. Hearing about that hard mode actually pissed me off and made me not want to play it because I cannot stand being forced to run a specific build because I have to.
You're forced.
No, I know.
To use
That's why I don't like it.
A material like chakra. You need to survive on chakra. because otherwise you're not gonna get healing. But what it also does, it gives bosses new moves.
Well, I will say the high speed motherfucker actually used his skills more. He didn't have new moves, but he used them more. Like the guy
Which
that's
one?
like the nine of the knives or whatever he's called, and there's regular elite versions of him that you end up fighting. I don't know. He's just really high speed, and he blows like smoke at you or something at some point that like injures
Oh,
you.
Oh
okay,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, so like he executed his skills like twice as fast.
yeah.
So
I had to
like
be
yeah,
careful because I was like,
I
oh,
didn't
I
pay
didn't notice that
attention
man
to
would hit me
that. I
sometimes.
just
yeah,
I just
exactly.
listened to that.
I'm like, oh, he hit me. Oh snap. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I just
so
listened to that and kept it moving. I never saw that in the sense of experience that.
yeah. I
I'm
mean
like,
so that definitely happened, and then what happened is they didn't give new moves, but you encountered elite enemies much earlier on. So like
yeah, that
Yeah.
was
yeah,
cool. That was
yeah,
cool.
they changed that.
But
So that's what
but
they did.
but but here is the but. Then got or whatever they're called. Odin slash with and you're done. Like the game didn't challenge you whatsoever.
I mean, yeah, I mean, but again, that doesn't. I'm not gonna harbor on difficulty because I don't really give a shit about difficulty. Your thing is messing up, Morgan. I think you went to say something, and it messed up.
Oh, I didn't hear her say a
No,
single
she
word. Go
tried
ahead,
it. She
Morgan.
tried to say something.
Okay.
Morgan, try again.
Um.
Okay,
You
maybe.
said
Yeah.
what?
Okay, now you're good. No, it made like
Wait, what
a. It
happened?
made like your thing does this weird noise sometimes, and you were like, I thought you were trying to speak.
Oh,
Um,
I'm sorry.
no, you're good.
Lady, it's finally time. You gotta join PC waiter race. We're waiting. No problem
Listen,
with
I don't
that.
need a PC. All right, I'm good. I'm good over here.
I mean, to be fair, you were one of the few Xbox ambassadors out here that completed Pentiment, and didn't just talk about it. So
Listen,
Oh yeah,
we're not
that's
gonna talk
another
about
game I
Pentiment.
wanna try out and see how that goes. Also, I wanna play Atomic. What you call it?
Atomic Hearts,
Atomic Heart.
Yeah, I was in that for all about 5 minutes and got bored. So have fun with that.
You
pretty
got
much.
bored?
Yeah, she
Yeah,
wasn't feeling
with
it.
Atomic Heart. Yeah, I was trying, but I was just like, eh.
Damn.
But
But with Final Fantasy 7, with Final Fantasy 15, uh, from what everything that we have played, is this the future of the franchise?
I mean, I would hope not. But I can see clearly, and I don't have Yoshi P rose-colored glasses on, so yeah, I hope they don't think this is a smashing success. This overly simplistic, de-itemized, de-RPGified game is the future. But I mean, we will see. My hope is that if that's what they think, that someone else will take up the mantle of AAA JRPG because they damn sure dropped the ball as far as that was
Yeah,
concerned.
let's keep it real. Action, they didn't do it justice. RPG mechanic was beyond lacking. Party members, what party members? Uh, action moves, you got literally a 4 button combo. Like nothing else besides that. Uh, it's atrocious, and not to mention the lack of any good characters. I mean, antagonists. Uh, Protagonists had great characters. A boss fight were some of the highlight, but even then, you're dealing damage until you get to the next cutscene, and rinse and repeat. It never deviated from its formula, sadly. Even when instead of being, even instead of doing something like, let's say, a normal boss fight versus something else, like a top down or whatsoever, you're still just doing damage until you get the pepper to the cutscene and call it a day.
Yeah,
Like,
essentially.
they didn't experiment too much. Maybe we're gonna see something different with Leviathan. because there is a talk about a DLC, and the only DLC that makes sense is Leviathan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question. Did
Okay.
Joshua die? Did Clive die? What happened? Cause I'm confused.
Joshua died. Clive is implied, but I'm willing to bet that because there's gonna be DLC that he's
Yeah,
survived.
he
Obviously.
about to come back with a
Uh,
robot hand.
yeah. I mean, the thing is like Sid also sort of had sort of that petrification, right? Because he was sort of dying but wasn't dead yet, right? So the more he used it, the closer he got to death. I think that's the
Mhm.
same with with Clive, that he used a lot of that shit when he whatever he did to that well or whatever it was, and that sort of yeah, it is implied because sort of his star disappeared or whatever. But things like, why show that he survived and then you know kill him off screen? I mean,
And
he,
especially the reason why I'm asking is because of the book. The book is apparently written by Clive or Joshua.
no, by Joshua.
But you just said Joshua died.
Yeah, but he wrote that book before he died.
Oh, interesting. I didn't think about that line. Or maybe he survived because I remember Clive trying to survive him. To revive him.
Well,
So that motherfucker blew up in that damn thing.
yeah,
All right, he's
But
dead.
what happened to Dion?
Dion died.
Dion is alive.
Oh, you think so?
I mean,
I
come
mean, they
on.
didn't show it, so that is a good point. He could be alive because they definitely didn't show. It was just them, like
He,
He
yeah,
fell. He
are
fell.
you gonna tell me the guy who has the icon of Bahamut, a flying dragon, is gonna die from falling?
that's true. That's true. I could, if anyone out of the three would be alive, I would think it would be Neon.
Okay. Um. What else to talk about with this game? I think, yeah.
But
Uh,
here's the thing, like overall impression. Like I absolutely second all the criticism it's had, but it still is a damn good game. I mean, the story is
is
absolutely
it? But
I
what?
love the
Wait,
catches
story.
your
wait,
Thank
a,
you, Leap.
wait a second. Is it
No, no,
true?
Omar,
Let this
I'm
man speak,
talking.
Omar.
I'm talking. You listen now.
Fine,
It's
go ahead.
okay. It's an
Let's hear
absolute
you
look.
clapping.
Yeah, yeah. Capping? I'm not capping.
Oh
We're gonna
man,
hear you clapping. Go ahead. I'm joking. Go
No,
ahead.
no.
damn.
I'm
Overall,
joking.
it's an
Go ahead.
absolutely it's a great game. I mean, it's look, it's not perfect. It's absolutely not the uh, best game ever made. It's not the best Final Fantasy ever made, but still, it's a great game. I mean, the story really catches you right from the beginning. You want to keep on playing, and yeah, no, they drop the ball here and there, with the Odin stuff, but overall, it's a great story. They nailed the casting. All the voice actors were doing a terrific job. I mean, the game also
Hmm.
looked beautiful time to time. Um, Basically, aside from maybe the fact that the performance mode or the performance mode wasn't that great. Overall, I didn't have any issues with the game. Some of the frame rate, you saw that in
Did
cutscenes,
you
but
have any frame rate issues?
the thing is, like, you'll only notice them when you're actually looking out for them. But overall, it's not like it's more like, okay, is there a frame rate issue here or not? Is it slower than it should be? But there were no big frame rate issues. Like, you notice that it's dropping to a crawl or whatever. The game was basically technically largely flawless. I had never had any crashes, no bugs whatsoever. So it was a really polished game in that regard. And yeah, I mean, second that it's absolutely oversimplified in terms of the combat, in terms of the gear you're getting. There's no any benefits or bonuses. Like, you always will use the next gear, right? The next tier. You're not gonna choose. Okay, yeah, this might have lower damage, but there's poison damage or whatever. That's not a thing. So yeah, they definitely shorter doesn't that one. That's something that you can criticize, but overall, I mean, I enjoyed it. It looked great. Fantastic soundtrack, fantastic voice acting, story, and characters. That's also important because I as much as you like to hate on the the antagonist, the pro- protagonist and supporting characters were great. Like
I agree
I
with that.
I I
100%.
liked
Yes.
pretty much everybody. Like even the most minor
No
side
one, no
characters
one,
were
no one
interesting.
said that the cast are not good.
Well,
Like the cast members are amazing.
Omar, I'm still talking. The thing is, but that's also what Nate said. Like side quests initially were pretty, bland. You had basically fetch quests, but they got better later on because there were some really interesting ones where there were
Mm-hmm.
few twists. Like
Mm-hmm.
with Lost Wing, but also
Yeah,
the the latter side quests, where basically character side quests, where you do something for them. And there were some real emotional moments. Like I really, got a bit moist at times. When when he was, spending time with his friends. I and there was a lot of characters that I loved. Like Clive was a bit dry, but Dion was great.
Dion was fantastic. Yeah,
Sid was absolutely a
No, I
hoot.
love Sid.
marvelous.
Of course, Torgal, even though Omar hates animals
Who?
apparently. Uh,
Torgal.
Torgal was great.
Oh, Turbo was
Um,
cool. Outside of combat,
Gaff Gaff
said.
was also amazing. I mean, there were so many amazing characters in there, right?
Yeah,
And that I
no.
think that there's something to be said about that because it's not that easy, or at least it's not that common where there are so many side characters that are just great, that are brought again. I have to give kudos to the voice acting, because voice actors, but they really brought those characters to life. And yes, writing overall, even though some of the dialogues might be a bit cookie cutter, but overall, the writing was really strong. I mean, and like you really, in the end, when they all said goodbye to each other, yeah, you really choked up at that point, because yes, it was kind of implied that it's sort of final, because at least we are sort of led to believe that they all died. But uh, I mean, that moment was absolutely brilliant. It really felt like you're I don't know how it should, like, it really felt like sort of there was a finality to it, and there was an emotional goodbye, and you really felt like, okay, yeah, these are good people, that these are your people. You're doing this for a reason. Like, there are a lot of games, and even this game had a lot of dark stuff in there, where there are a lot of shitty people in this world, and a lot of the entire treatment of the bearers is absolutely atrocious. But you also see there are a lot of good people. A lot of people who are willing to help out, to willing, your allies, the people outside of your resistance group who are helping you out, and that sort of a hopeful tone that also gives you the motivation to, like, is there a point in even saving this world if everybody's an asshole? No, no, not everybody is an asshole, and pretty. That's often missed with games where they're treating really heavy subjects, where where it's a dark world, and where there's a lot of injustice, and that pretty much everybody's an asshole, and and you're still trying to save the world, even though there is not really anybody worth saving. And here, there are people worth saving. There is, you can really see why, even as a player, you're motivated to continue, even though you don't have a choice, because it's a linear experience. But still, you're they did a great job of actually making you feel like you're doing something that that's worthwhile, it matters. So overall, as I'm a sucker for great narratives, I absolutely in the end love this game. Despite its shortcomings, it's absolutely a fantastic game.
Okay.
I second Weeb on that. I am also a sucker for a great narrative, and I really enjoyed the story of Final Fantasy 16. I know people, a lot of the side quests bored people, and I will agree. Like the beginning ones where you gotta like fetch soup and stuff like in wood, and I was just like, okay, whatever. Like you just gotta walk 5 feet and give somebody something. I was just like, kind of roll my eyes at those. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I enjoyed a lot of the side quests because I think for me at least, it opened up like a lot of the world that Clive, especially when he still had his bear's mark, the world that he was living in, like the way they would treat this man, talk to this man whenever he would walk up, like, where's your master? I don't want to deal with you, like like asking for his asking for help, and then he my character would help them. He would beat the wolves or fetch this for them or fight this off for them, and then they just be like, yeah, okay, cool, whatever, like I guess I'll thank your master for helping me, like I can't believe I had a bearer help me. I was just like, yo, like I enjoyed that though. I was just like, damn, like they just treat these bears like they ain't crap. Like even though they're like Clive is out here helping them, even saving their lives sometimes, like they just did not care, like no appreciation whatsoever. And then of course the stark contrast of when he got his tattoo or removed, and then the way they treated him then, it was I thought I just thought the deep dive into that world, and like when you go I forgot the girl who runs the bar, I think it's like Anne or something, like when you do
I forgot what it did, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah and then you have to go to the chapel, and you see what happens to bears who are forced to just use their magic all the time, and then they become the petrified state and stuff. And like the masters, their masters just don't care. They kind of just throw them off to the side, like like a used pin. Like they just don't care anymore. They're like, okay, you're useless now, so you just go off and die in the corner.
That's when things became real, right?
Yeah, and like there was another mission where there was like the little girl where she was asking you to help her find her pet, like she was like, I can't find. She's usually around here. Like she's so cute, yada yada yada. And then come to find out, it was like a little bear girl that she was talking about. I'm thinking I'm about to help this little girl find her kitten or something.
Yeah, I was expecting a puppy. Because like, the way the NPC even talk about it,
described her like a pet. Like, oh yeah, I usually play with her. I usually let her out during right now. She's usually around here somewhere.
I always told her when to put her on the leash when you're done playing with her.
Yeah. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna help her find some kind of exotic pet or something, and it was just a bear. And then like she was like kicking her, like, yo, why is she not moving? I don't understand. Like, get up, like. And like girl, she's like, I was just like, oh my god, she's dead. Like
I don't remember that, but that
and it was just crazy. And then the other one where the woman she had just given birth, and she found out that her child had magic, and she immediately gave the kid away, and she was just like so disgusted by the fact that she just gave birth to like a child who was going to be a bearer. And then her other child asked her like, mommy, is that kid going to be my brother? And she was like, oh, don't worry, like he's gone, you're not going to have to worry about him anymore. And I was just like, oh my,
you're gonna get a different one, don't worry about it.
I was just like, stuff like that. I thought that was really good. I thought that was that the world building and the narrative building of stuff like that, of kind of showing like how, like, it's not just surface level, like, oh yeah, they treat the bears bad, it's whatever. But no, like you really got to see like how bad it is for bears. And I enjoyed the aspect, and I really liked seeing that. And it
kind of on the wolf one. You remember that one?
The rogue?
The wolf
one. Which wolf one?
It's
he's talking about that. He's talking about the one where they lower you with the wolf or whatever.
Oh the boy, the little boy.
The little boy.
Yeah. That one was fucked up.
Something was up, but
he was like, it's my pet, and I like to have them play with him. And I was like, so you just sending bears off to just die for your own entertainment, like this little 8-year-old. I'm just like, oh my god. It's crazy. I think, that like I said, that did a good job building up the world, and it kind of reinforced why Clive and especially Sid took up this cause to free bears, and it reinforces like why you're fighting to like free these people and stuff. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that aspect of it, and I think they did a good job, telling that story.
Okay, as for me, music. No one out of you guys have mentioned music. Music is some of the best.
I did.
Okay, you did. I
Very
apologize.
listening.
Some of the best music I have ever heard. Final Fantasy related or not, the way they made use of nostalgia, amazing. Characters, they had great characters, even better character development. Where did they land very well, which is paint the picture of the bearer. Yo, if they locked in for not having a black character, if there was a black bearer, oh boy, the outrage that would have been, because bearers are literally worse than beggars. They would rather have beggars than bearers.
Yeah.
Music,
the
amazing.
mark is pretty damning in the game.
Yeah, storytelling, amazing. Where it did suck, it didn't land well, is Annabella. Her story fell flat at the end, especially after she killed herself. I'm like, that's
Yo, fuck that mom, to be honest.
and
She ain't shit.
She really
Fuck
not.
Clive's mom.
Yeah, she's a bitch.
that's an easy way out. She should have, you know, uh, gotten a lot of flack for what she did, but she got away with it, with a lot of it. And they didn't even talk about it that much. I was expecting it to be more focused on that, but nope. Um, the combat, that's where the game fell flat. The skills, the RPG mechanics, the equipment, all by all, between a 7 or a 7.5 to an 8 maximum. That's how I would rank it. Anyone giving it anything below that is being disingenuous. You're not gonna give it a 6. This game has 0 bugs for me. 0
I
glitches.
had 0 glitches.
0. You can hate everything about the combat and the voice acting if you do. That's no problem. But you gotta give it its prop. Out of in games that have come out broken, unfinished, and a terrible mess, this one wasn't. It came out polished. It had FPS drop, but not during combat, after combat or before combat. Running button non-existence, that's an oversight beyond an oversight. All by all, yeah, a 6, a 7 or 7.5, close to an 8 for me. What would you guys rate it? An 8?
I mean, I landed pretty much the same. I said about a 7.5 to an 8.
Yeah.
Overall, despite, like I said, all the other things, just the game for what it is. Like I said, the good music, the good overall story, a lot of great supporting characters. I was personally a fan of his uncle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was cool.
Yeah, his uncle was awesome.
He's funny.
Hilarious. Yeah. So yeah.
I have a question. Am I the only one that thought that was a glitch when Clive pulled up an imaginary sword when he's trying to convince his uncle.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
thought the same
that's
thing.
okay. First time I see a glitch, but hey, it happened. But then nope, that's not a glitch. That was actually in the game. I'm like, that's cool. That was very cool. Especially out of such a serious game like this. You got this Madoka Magica-esque moment, a shoujo moment in it.
Yeah, it was a nice moment when he reunited with his uncle. I gave the game like an 8.5 to 9.
Mm-hmm. And we
Yeah, I'm also closer to an 8.5. Yeah.
okay, gotcha. Um, before we close it up, because this is it. Nate, I binge watched Birdie, the golf anime.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just me, or did it fell flat a second season around?
Yeah, I mean the ending was kind of lame,
Not
like a lame
only the
excuse.
ending. I'm like, you build up Aisha to be this uh, force to
Unstoppable
be reckoned
force.
with,
Yeah.
and it did nothing.
I mean, but
Especially
at the
after
same
her
time,
being.
she basically had to break her body down just to compete with her. So
I mean, yes, but all she had was one move.
yeah, I mean you're not
It.
wrong.
I don't know. I don't know if the budget wasn't there, or that's literally how the manga was. But damn, was it lackluster. Especially after they build up Leo to be this epic and such a cool character and such a character that is banking on the future generation.
Yeah.
Basically, Leo is literally like Shanks in One Piece. He is literally being voiced acted by the same character, by the same voice actor. That's how I recognize him. Um, and then the ending, I'm like, damn.
Yeah, it kind of sucked. Like the whole, we might have found a cure. Got to work on this thing. Like
Now
it was kind of
I
thing.
knew they're gonna do that because they wanted a happy ending. But what sucks is it's like now you're doing another cycle all over again.
Well, that's what I meant. Like it was like too late. Like they should have thought about that beforehand, so that they could have fully
Yeah,
competed from the jump, but they didn't.
and the only reason they broke Eve body is because what's her name had that sickness.
Yeah, try to
Because
give
they
them
never
both a
focused
weakness.
on her on her sister body breaking. There was never even a moment where her sister had issue with the goal. But all by all, it's a 6 or 7.
Yeah,
Next
I still enjoyed it.
yeah, me too. Next on my list is going to be either the
Cowboy
Isekai
Bebop.
where hmm?
Cowboy Bebop.
No, the Isekai that you got reincarnated as a little boy with a lot of magic. I forgot what's called. It's season
You
3 now.
mean Madoka Magica?
No, he means
No,
Michiko Tensei.
Yeah,
he said it.
yeah,
He said it.
yeah.
That one, which not gonna lie, the ending of that one was so eerie for me. A grown adult having sex with a minor.
Wait, what are you talking
I
about?
um, he is a grown-up adult in a little boy body, and he had sex with a minor.
No, he didn't. She's not a minor.
No, she is. She is
No,
16.
she is not, dude. She's not a minor. She's
They
young,
little
but she's not a minor.
she is she is 16, I think. 14, 15,
Yeah,
16.
yeah. She's a carpenter.
Something like that. Like that shit was
Yeah,
borderline pedophilia.
it is a bit. But the thing is, like, what I do appreciate is that this is basically what's happening in pretty much every isekai anime because there's
Real
always
talk, I haven't seen an isekai that goes
No, he's saying because
actual sleeping with each
the
other.
person inside the body is older, even though the
Yeah,
body
Oh
itself
yeah,
is
that one
younger.
on that end. I got you on that
yeah,
end.
and they always yeah, they don't always explicitly show that they're having sex, but they're basically doing the same thing.
Implying
There's
it.
always like the guy who is a
Insinuate?
harem with well, there's always a guy who will get in a harem of
Yeah.
essentially underage women, but it's okay because he's an underage body himself. But basically, he was already older, was like a middle-aged salaryman that got reincarnated. So it's like the same as with Rimuru. I mean, from Slime Tensei, because he also was an adult that got reincarnated as a slime, and
Yeah,
he's
Nimue is an
basically
adult.
yeah. And there are also a
And
lot of underage women around him, so who are
but the
fawning
difference is
over him.
with that is he is not actively trying to sleep with them. That's the difference. But okay,
Yeah, but
Restock.
it's the
I
same
got
thing.
you. I got you. I
It
got you. It, to
yeah,
me,
but no, but what I want to say is like, at the very least, they're addressing that, because yeah, the anime is actually sort of addressing that issue, that yeah, inside he's this middle-aged otaku or shut-in, right, who they're addressing that yeah, it is uncomfortable, and I can appreciate at the very least that, unlike a lot of other isekai anime who are trying to sort of tiptoe around that and basically pretend like, oh yeah, it's not actually an issue because you reincarnate, your physical body is underage, so that's not a problem. They're actually addressing that. So, and it is in this is a fantasy world, so there are sort of medieval rules, blah blah blah, but it is always an uncomfortable aspect of that, and you're feeling uncomfortable here because they're actually addressing that. But the reality is this is an issue with all of them. But this one is actually sort of showing you, yeah, it is a thing. It is an uncomfortable thing. Uh, you're just noticing it
mm,
because they're actually laying it out there.
hmm the other anime that I'm gonna watch is the Onset of Magic Bride, but season two. I love the first season. The opening is legendary. I think the second opening is also good. Um, oh
You
yeah, I
should
also want to watch Made in Abyss season two. So lots
you
of anime
you
to
should
catch up to.
you should also check out Helk, which is a new anime.
If it's still ongoing, I'm gonna wait on it until the first
It
season is
it
done.
it is ongoing, but it's I read the manga and it's absolutely amazing. So,
Okay.
and they've done a good job so far with the first 3 episodes.
There is, don't hate me on this one. There's also Tokyo Revenger season two I wanna watch. I
Mm,
know the ending for Tokyo Revenger. I know it sucks, but hey, I
Yeah,
wanna see how it goes there.
well, I
Um,
mean, if you want to torture yourself, it's
I
free
mean,
country.
this talk, I love the first season. I enjoyed it. Um,
Y'all
with
need to
that
watch
being
Twisted Metal. Stop playing.
said,
Yeah,
let's get to the outro. But before I do so, shout out to everyone that came through. Great show. Uh, great genuine topics. Also, great discussion. And shout out to Shad. And let's get to the outro. Weep, where people can find you.
yeah. I want to say you can find me on Twitter, but apparently you have to call it X now. Fuck.
Oh yeah, so we're all gonna be clicking.
Yeah,
Did it update for you or not
yeah,
yet?
they caught Morgan's ass
Yeah,
slipping.
Man, I woke up to that shit upgraded. Man, I was like, oh, good, it
Oh,
hasn't upgraded yet. I'm
it
so mad.
hasn't
yeah.
upgrade
My
for me,
my
so I'm
beautiful
still lucky.
bluebird. You're still lucky. Yeah, it's only a matter of time, Omar. Yeah, man, this sucks. But yeah, okay, you can find me on X. Apparently, that's now my OnlyFans or whatever. At Infinite
Oh
Rise now,
man.
as the Weep Sheriff, or well, unless Elon also changes that. So who knows? Um, yeah, and great show, and well, see you guys next week, and of course, Holler Nation.
Otter Nation.
Morgan, thank you for coming through. Where we can find you?
You guys can also find me on X. At Chill Bandit. Keeping it gaming. Excited. I'm happy. Got my Spidey plates. Spidey season is coming. All right, regardless of whether people want to believe it or not, it's on the way. All right, I'm getting hyped. But yeah, let's keep talking about gaming and see you guys next Saturday. Otter Nation.
That's good. Morgan, Nate, it's out to you for hosting. Where people can find you.
Yeah. On what is essentially still twitter.com, but as they said, now aptly known as X, at the real innate, and also as Morgan said, keeping it gaming, and one time for the caster who isn't here, Otter Nation.
Oh yeah, Otter Nation.
So yeah, for me, people can find me on Caravan Job on Exeter, I guess. That's how they call it. And Vitamin G podcast every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Shout out to Viper. He finished Trails of the Sky, and he is in love, I guess.
I mean, it's
with
a pretty
the
amazing
franchise.
story, so I
Yeah.
can't fault him there.
Yeah, Kofi been talking about it for the longest. But yeah, I'm gonna go back to gaming. Not that I haven't been do so while podcasting. But
we
yeah.
could hear it.
Wait, can you not actually hear it?
Yeah, I could hear the clicking.
No, I hate myself with this one. Thank you all for coming through and end it.